Hello, dear listeners, and welcome back. We've been gone a long time. How are you all?
Yeah.
It's this. I feel
Do we
out
have to
of.
leave a gap to let hundreds of people reply?
I,
Is this thing on?
Yeah. I
yeah.
don't know.
Apologies for the long delay, dear listeners. To cut long story short, our recording platform Skype was ceased to be, and because we're all apparently
We're all comparatively old. We're not actually that bad with technology, but you got to
we,
remember
we
the
we're
show
basically
start.
yeah we're basically a
Well, the
bunch of
show started
boomers.
in
So
2015. Yeah,
yeah.
but we started this show in 2015. Skype was in far more common usage then. So why would you change when it works?
Yeah.
This is before the days of Zoom, kids.
Yeah,
But
that's
And
now
all it
here we
was.
are,
It
back on
worked. So
Zoom.
why would? Yeah, because every time you change it, you got to look back into how do you record from it? How do you split the tracks? None of it's that hard, but if what you've got's working, you just keep using it, don't you?
yeah,
If it ain't
um,
broke, don't fix it.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
But then it did break in May.
Much
and
to
then
our annoyance.
we were like, okay, well, what do we do now? And yeah, it was just one thing left after another. Yeah, a few things here and there, and yeah, there we are. So we are back. A bit of a break. Merry Christmas, everyone. I'm not.
Hey, more on that in a bit.
Yes, but yeah, but we thought we'd bring things back with a commentary, a Bond commentary, as we usually do after long breaks to ease us back in. So,
And
um,
also and also we were 10 years old this year, and
yes,
the film in question on an anniversary year.
yes.
Yep, celebrating 60 years.
So, yeah. So, Becca, so what will you tell us about the film we're covering today?
Gosh, yes. So,
Pressure.
no pressure. So, yes, it's 2025. So that means Thunderball is celebrating its 60th anniversary this year. We're a little bit late after the original sort of premiere, obviously
Not
65,
that
but
late. It's only a week. It was only a week or two ago.
yeah, this is it. So yeah, we had aimed to record like around what would be the anniversary of the premiere. But then we had technical issues. So but here we are this evening. Yes, so it's Thunderball tonight. Um Sean Connery's fourth outing as Bond. Um you can spot his wig and his tattoos in this one. Um
Yeah.
what I kind of feel like I have an introduction. What would you like to know about it? Starring obviously
I
Sean
don't think we
Connery.
I don't think we need to say an awful lot about it. It's just that certainly until Skyfall, and it's debatable depending on measures of inflation and things like that.
Yeah.
This was pound for pound the most successful Bond film for the first, well, at least 47 years of its life.
Yeah, sort of billion-dollar Bond, wasn't it? And then obviously
Yeah.
Skyfall comes along and kind of usurps that throne, really.
And it, and
Um,
it, and it does tend to be ahead of it on adjusted list, but again, what the comparative inflation in cinema prices, paid admissions, I don't know what the result would be.
Shilling.
But
No, I don't know. Yeah,
but
it was a
but
bit
but,
cheaper,
but
wasn't it?
pound
So,
for
and
pound, yeah, it was the most successful.
I
Um,
think cinema going habits would have changed a little bit as well. Um,
yeah,
so, like for example, you know, in the olden days, you sort of go in and films would be kind of on a loop, so you'd come in and out whenever, basically. But I think by this point, it'd become a bit more like you go in at the start of the film and leave at the end, and perhaps you wouldn't be on that loop all the time. And I think Bond was kind of really getting into itself. I mean, Goldfinger is kind of given as like the standard of when the kind of the Bond formula, I guess, all came together, all the different ingredients, sort of like sort of the
well, this
action.
fed off that success of that one,
Exactly.
didn't
Yeah, I
it?
was going to
Yeah,
say this probably like Goldfinger's often given
Brothers
the
Contest.
example of that really cemented the Bond genre, the Bond sort of yeah formula as it were. But I think this Thunderball kind of really did it. And it did it with style as well, and also kind of mid 1960s. You're getting more into the jet set. Foreign travel became more prevalent. It was, you know, people were earning more. Um, this is kind of the age of, yeah, as I say, kind of the jet set and people becoming more affluent as well in the sort of post-war period, as it were. Yeah, international travel becoming a bit more affordable, bit more easier, a bit more sort of glamorous as well. Um, and we go to, you know, a lot of really nice and hot, sunny locations in this film. Bahamas, that's one thing another, but it's very nice
Yeah.
indeed. Um,
Well,
trying to think what else.
we can do all the sort of facts when we go into it. We can sort of recall what we said about it.
Fun
We can catch
facts.
our listeners up on our summers to some degree, maybe,
It
and
wouldn't be
and
our
we'll
usual
sort of tell you
commentary
what we're
without
doing.
going off on a tangent or two.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Right, Chris, count us
Yeah.
in.
Okay. So we've all got our buttons on the play button. So I will counts it on three. So, are you ready? So,
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3. Here we go.
Listeners, it's notable to say that we're all watching on sort of different medium. Personally, I'm on the Blu-ray, and I think Chris and Dave,
Yeah.
you're on the streaming from
Yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah.
I wonder if
Leo's just roaring.
I wonder if we're going to see Leo at
Second
the beginning of the Bond film now.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
true, probably.
because it's Amazon MGM.
So hopefully we'll still see Leo.
They bought Amazon. Sorry, Amazon bought MGM. MGM is still a distinct brand, but it will be like Amazon MGM Studios.
What do you
So
recommend
yeah,
of like the Paramount potential Paramount debacle, however you
um,
say it?
What about
the
buying
whole
Netflix?
yeah no. Netflix want to buy Warner Brothers, and Paramount have tried to usurp the deal and do like a hostile takeover.
Uh,
Um,
it's not going to work, I don't think. But
I don't know. Well, the trouble is there's a political element to it because they both need approval in America, and
And one's a
I
big
don't
Trump
need
supporter.
I don't need to spell out where that's an issue. He changes his mind for daily whether you like him or hate him, and but there is a monopolies and sort of as what we would refer to over here. It would be referred to the Monopolies and Mergers Commission
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
nobody
so there must
should
be some
have
kind
too
of
much
competition,
markets
isn't
there.
there?
Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I'm not really going to comment on it. I don't beyond.
wait and see, kind of thing.
It does sort of feel like cinema's dying. It just does. I mean, this has been a really weak year anyway, so maybe a couple of bangers of years and it might get better. We're still sort of feeding off the scraps of the last writer's strike. But when Avatar 3 is coming out, and you start and everyone's sort of like, will it make enough money to make another? And it might do. This might date really badly, but there seems to be significantly more nerves about it being a super hit this time. The number of billion-dollar films is sort of dropping a bit. Marvel's take has gone off a cliff, and so it wouldn't be surprised if Netflix, it might be standard. We're all used to quite big TVs now with at least a soundbar, but it wouldn't surprise me if we basically all have pretty much home cinema setups to a very good quality in time to come. And yeah, I can see cinema dying, and the Netflix deal would probably hasten it, but we'll see. So
Hopefully
there's
that
the
won't
first,
happen. Viva la cinema.
yeah. Well, to date this earlier in the year, we were talking about pausing Hitchcock because before the long delay, we were going to pause Hitchcock and do the Avatar series around this time of year.
Speaking
But
of
of
Hitchcock,
course,
is a man dressed as a woman.
Yes.
yeah. Um,
So just to take it briefly on back on the film, like,
yeah.
so
Yeah, he's having a fight. He's having a fight with Jack Bouvard.
when I first watched this, like, when it was on TV, when you were a kid, and you haven't
Yeah,
quite watched all the Bourne films, or you're not sure if you have,
yeah,
or what, you do wonder, like, is this like a character from a previous film that you just
Yeah,
don't,
sometimes there is a carryover, isn't there? So
yeah,
yeah.
like Sylvia Trench, for example.
and
But
that,
yeah, I sort of think, who is this?
it is a Spectre agent. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
Spectre
part of
agent Jack
building up
Bouvard.
that him getting consistently more exposure to various members of Spectre.
Yeah.
But
Also kind of the revenge
and
element as well. So
and the TV edit would have had him just like fall to the fireplace, and that's it.
yeah, just showing
yeah,
the
well, a
flowers
bit
being
like
put over
Taken
him.
2, where one of them died
Yeah.
sitting down. Yeah,
Yeah.
you only
Especially, yeah,
find out
the ITV edit. Oh my gosh. It'll be all cut out.
yeah. Um, I think the first thing to note on this film, and I'll have a lot to say about it as we go through, because it's a film that you have to watch in context of the time, not even its attitudes, although there's some of that. But the wow factor of this film was a lot of the reason for its success, and that's born out of novelty, which isn't there anymore. We'll explain that as we go through.
It's kind of
But I will
futurism
say,
almost as well, isn't it? A little
what?
bit.
Well, it's the underwater photography,
Yeah.
but of course you're left with a film that's 20% people swimming and fighting very slowly. So
Although I
how
must
well
say,
a
I
lot
was
of people
very
get bored
lucky.
by it.
I must say, I was very lucky to see. Obviously, there was a 4K Sean Connery Bond series put out recently.
Yeah,
I was lucky to see this on big screen. It's
yeah,
one of Thunderball, like with me. Just quick diversion. It's one of those films which I've always really enjoyed, but especially when I was a younger fan, the underwater scenes I
mm.
perhaps didn't appreciate them at the levels that I do now, and I thought, oh, it's quite boring. Or I should fast forward. Um, but yeah, for me,
Both
it's
things can be true.
yeah, definitely. But I think it's one
Mm.
you kind of appreciate as you get older. Similar with For Your Eyes Only, which I've probably mentioned out on a previous episode. But I was lucky to see the new 4K at the big screen recently. Um, And boy, did
Yeah.
that change my opinion. Um,
I love For Your Eyes Only anyway, but with For Your Eyes Only, it's just that it's slow.
it's just
With
it's
Thunder,
the rock climbing scenes that was all
but you
weirdly, but
don't find it as slow as you get older anyway.
no,
I think it's
exactly. You
about what.
appreciate it more. But in terms of the
But with
cinematography as
this,
well, there's a few aspects which are perhaps could be edited a little bit more. But yeah, listeners, if you're able to, or perhaps if it's on sale over the Christmas holidays, if you're able to as well, do check out the 4K. If you've got the setup for it, really beautiful. Colors really pop. Again, there might be some technical issues like with the sound because some of the sound effects have since been replaced in alternate versions. But I think the two different versions are presented on the disc, so you can have mono or stereo, whichever version you like. But yeah, I can highly recommend the 4K. The colors really
yeah.
pop. Did all the cinematography. It looks really beautiful. Like some of the previous elements, it may be difficult who's fighting who, but now that has completely been removed. Everything's kind of really clear. Color, the picture is beautiful. Sean's tats are more noticeable in
Have they fit?
4K.
I'm
But yeah, no,
sure
it's
it's this film.
I can highly
Is it
recommend
this
it.
film or the next one that's got a flip shot in it? It might be the next one, where his
I,
parting's on the wrong side.
yeah, I think it's probably the next one. So,
I
but yeah,
think it
there's a
is when he's
few
up in
good.
a helicopter. Yeah.
They try to sort of edit it over a little bit. Not his comb over or his tats. But
I see.
yeah, I highly recommend this one.
I think his wig looks better than this than he did in the last one.
I
In
disagree.
what in
Rate
Goldfinger?
Connery's wig across the films.
The Goldfinger wig is it's a different color, but it's very William Shatner in Star Trek.
Bit
The
more of a
one in this film,
blonde wig, that one, isn't it? And you got a bit more of a
no,
curl
yeah,
at the
the
front.
color's different, but the
Yeah,
quiff at the front. But the one with this, the problem with this one is it depends what angle you're filming from. When he was just stood over the guy in the fireplace, it was from the other side and it looks fine. It's when you see the parting side, the parting is too severe.
yeah, it looks a bit quite extreme, doesn't it? Sort of
Yeah.
extreme 60s hairdo.
But the
So
point I was just quickly going to make during the before I waylaid myself to be honest with you, but during that fight scene, I would say the set design in this film is very very nice indeed.
it's a very handsome looking film, isn't it? I think
Yeah,
I sort of appreciate a bit more,
it is
especially
Ken
after
Adam, isn't it?
the glitz and glamour of Goldfinger as well. For example, I mean, this one you don't think it's going to get any bigger, and then Thunderball comes along and just kind of ups the ante. Really, where do you really go from here? And of course, you kind of
Triple
got
the
all the
budget.
yeah, exactly. You've got a lot more money. You've also got the
Mm,
villain of Kevin McClory.
yeah,
Dear, oh dear, but that's a whole other story in itself.
yeah.
Um,
Would it be too controversial to, given he died 19 years ago, to call Kevin McClory a bit of a bellend? Because this consumed his entire life, his obsession with the
yeah, he
Bond
spent ages trying to
franchise.
remake this film,
And
didn't
he
he?
just didn't own it. He just didn't in
No,
any way. When you break down the case, they stopped using Blofeld and Spectre because they were scared that it was first mentioned in his book. But
no.
like
Well,
he
it
had
wasn't until he
nothing.
died that they were able to use it, like in the Daniel Craig series, for example. They sort of they didn't have to
Well,
wait for McClory to die,
think
but
about it for a second, though. Think about it for a second, though, right? The first film was Doctor No. Doctor No, the book, was written before Longitude 78 West, which became this.
yeah,
The book was anyway. They adapted that reasonably faithfully, but threw the name Spectre into it, mainly because Smersh had too much of a Russian angle a few months after the Bay of Pigs and the Cold
yeah.
War in full swing. None
Sort
of
of
those things scream
thinly
to me.
veiled.
I think his obsession with it, and he kept basically what he had the right to do was make an adaptation of the book of Thunderball and the script bits of that were written for Longitude 78 West as many times as he liked. So his only right to a series was basically loosely remaking Thunderball over and over and over
Yeah,
again.
just that one idea.
But they Eon eventually, but
It just astounds me because he's like, you still got to make the film. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, it's like
He got the
sure,
sole producing credit on it. They became exec producers or associate producers or whatever. It was just on the screen, but I forget what it was now. He got the sole producing credit. He got it, they got, what was it? All he had to do was like not make another one for 10 years. And by 75, 76, he's trying to like do his remake. And it just, at least Eon in the end, however ownership is now, and that's a bit nuanced because Eon do technically still own it, or half own it. It's just about creative control. But they did buy back both the spoof Casino Royale and Never Say Never Again. They would never put them in the box sets, but now there will be no argument about who is that guy talking now? Not him, the one before the bald one. I recognize him from something else. Did he appear in Faulty Towers or something?
Probably this
I
this
don't
kind
know.
of the Spectre scene
Yeah.
contains quite a few famous faces, popular and sort
Mm,
of like Doctor Who, that sort of thing. Various other ITC shows of mid 1960s as well. I'll
yeah.
go through the cast list in a minute. But
Yeah,
I was going
yeah.
to say, yeah, listeners, if you wanted to learn a bit more about Bond, and obviously you've got Never Say Never Again. But yeah, I recommend the 2012 documentary Everything or Nothing. That kind of goes probably the last half of the documentary. Obviously, it's a bit old now, but highly recommended. That's kind of like a sort of I think a trip,
It needed to be a
journey.
lot longer.
Yeah,
It's all
it
right for
did.
a
Yeah,
beginner. What I would say
it
is
was
if you're
entry
particularly
level. So
yeah, if you're particularly interested, and we did say this, but of course those episodes were recorded 9 or 10 years ago now.
mm.
But the recommendation stays the same. If you want to know what happened about this whole mess around ownership of both Casino Royale and the rights about Thunderball and the debate between Eon and Kevin McClory, the book is quite dry to start with, but once you and the text is really small if you read the paperback version.
Is this the
But
battle
as
for
you
Bond?
yeah, as you get into it, you can't put it down. And the last few dozen pages are amazing. The Battle for Bond by Robert Sellers
Yeah, I believe
tells
it's
us.
largely out of print. I think there were attempts to revive it to do new versions in the last few years, just
Right.
because we were due to read it in the last couple of years for a Bond book club that I'm a
I
part
didn't
of.
know that because obviously I
Um,
own a copy. So when you own a copy, you don't tend to go
well, no,
looking
this
for
is
another
it. I
one,
mean,
do you?
I own a copy as well. I have I'm not sure he will listen. Hopefully he will. But Scott from Spy Hards,
Hmm.
I believe, has a first edition.
Okay. Well, I will
There's a
change
forward
my
that's got like,
recommendation.
yeah, I can
I
highly
will change
recommend
my
Battle for Bond.
no, I will change my recommendation then if you can't get hold of it.
Well, I don't know. You
What?
might be. I found it. I found a copy. I think it must have been HMV or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
Um, excuse me. But so it may be available perhaps on eBay, or like
Right.
World of Books, those kind of places. But I do believe it may
True.
largely be out of print.
But if you're
Um,
planning to make a late night impulse bloody purchase or something,
eBay's a place to go.
what you want to do is buy instead. If you remember, those who've listened to us for a long time or at least substantially heard our back catalogue, when we did the Star Trek series, I referenced quite heavily the 50-year mission, as it was then, a double volume oral history of of the Star Trek series, and it just gives you everything from start to finish. Now, I believe it's the same authors. They also did one on Star Wars. Nobody does it better. I'm trying to find the book. I'm killing time to find the book. Um, Hang on a minute. I'm just looking for it. Yeah, so there's a book called Nobody Does It Better. It's the complete oral history of James Bond, written by, let me find the name. It's Mark Altman and Edward Gross. They're the same people
Mark
that
Altman's
did the
fantastic.
50th
He's
mission.
written many
Yeah,
books across a wide range of subjects. So Bond, Star Trek, Doctor Who probably as well. Obviously Jerry Anderson and that as well. He's a big sort of Ander fan.
yeah,
Yeah, Mark Altman. He's sort of prolific author, written across a wide
yeah.
range of pop culture and sci-fi
But they will cover that because
subjects.
every film gets the whole history of how it came about, how it was cast, if there were casting changes, how they changed the writing to everything about a given film is in that book. So it will absolutely explain why Doctor knows the first film and explain why Thunderball's where it is and explain why Never Say Never Again is made. So you will get and Casino Royale because that was a whole rights issue linked to all of this. So yeah, that would give you everything you need. I need to go back to the film now, though, for a bit because we've just seen the bandaged up sort of what's he called? Jack, not what's he called? No, Duval, Francois Duval. We've seen the bandaged sort of copy of him. Um, this is the one thing that I don't think there's much done better in Never Say Never Again, apart from maybe the pacing of the first two thirds. Last act's a mess, but it does explain better why Bond's at a fucking health farm. Never Say Never Again over this. This is all a bit. Well, what's he doing there apart from to like shag around a bit?
To seduce Pat Fearing. I mean, if you want
I
that,
do
you
wonder
can
if it was
visit.
like something like edited out or something like that. That was like it was just for time. Maybe they just thought, oh, we don't really need to
This
know
was the
why.
longest Bond film at the time by a bit of a distance as well. This
Yeah,
is
it
two
was the
hours
longest one.
10, and until apart from On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which was the longest for decades, It took
I think probably until No Time to Die came along.
I'm not even sure if any of a lot of the Roger Moore films were just over 2 hours, like 2:05 or whatever, but I don't think even they were longer.
No, that was a long one. So I think it probably wasn't until maybe the Craig era where they did start to get on a bit. Obviously,
And of course,
Quantum remains the shortest.
Yes, it does.
Which is
and
probably
it
for the best.
Always will. It probably always will. Yeah, but that one's too short. If you put a bit of fat and connective tissue back in, it would have been a better film.
That was shortened by the writer's strike.
Yeah. So yeah.
So yeah, a few other cast members that we had just going through the IMDb.com. Paul Cecino, sort of appeared in various ITC dramas, sort of thing. George Powder as well. Who else did we see? I can't remember his name. That's terrible, isn't it? That's really embarrassing.
Well,
Peter Burton.
You're informed, oh,
he pops up, but he's kind of like, he obviously played like the original.
He was the original quartermaster.
From Doctor
No. Same character, because he was referred to as Major Boothroyd there, I think.
Yes, yeah, Major Boothroyd, and then
yeah.
I can't find who I'm looking for.
I don't know what it is about this machine, but it makes it look like automated shagging practice. It's long before sex dolls. It's like, just get on this and have a go.
It just looks like it's going to give his his stomach a bit of a.
I can't.
I was
going to say
abs.
It doesn't look like it's really stretching your spine, does it? It just like it's pulling you up and down a bit. Like,
no. So any chiropractors, if you've been working longer than 1965, did machines like this exist? Are they real? I've never
How
used
many
one.
chiropractors do you think you'll get that worked before 60 years ago?
Still going to be good. They've retired, long since retired.
So if you're a 90-year-old chiropractor.
Yes.
So forgive me. So this actress, she's dubbed, isn't she?
Is she another, what's she called?
Nikki van der Zyl.
Van der Zyl. I think she might be. There are some, not myths, but they're not myths because people with full knowledge know this. But some of who dubbed what and that. Any female character up until about this era, you assume it's Nikki van der Zyl, and she doesn't do them all, but she does do this one.
She did them all, darling. She did them all.
I love the romanticness of this, the romance of this, shall I say, to choose a word that actually exists. Suck this, and you can keep your job. I think that's yeah. Do you imagine this now? I don't complain about these films being dated because they are what they are. I don't really.
It's one of those things, especially with.
He hasn't even kissed her first. The clothes are straight off. Look.
Well, you don't know that. You don't know. You just don't know.
What, do you think he's hedging his bets?
No.
Like he hasn't. No, he hasn't specifically said he wanted sex. He's hinted strongly at it. They've gone in there. He's ripped his clothes off, so he can probably say, "Oh, I tripped."
He might have just given her the biggest snogging of her life.
If he thinks she looks shit naked, he can just go, "I'll leave it."
Oh no, Pat Farring's lovely, but no, it's one of those things you do, especially.
Have you seen her naked?
No, I haven't. It's one of those things, like especially with the franchise like this as well. I mean, Bond is meant to be obviously kind of God's gift, that sort of thing. Obviously, men kind of want to be him, and all the women want to be with him. Maybe some of the guys as well. Check out David Ellis's work on that fact. But it's just one of those things, and you kind of have to. I mean, I think probably by this point as well, the sexual kind of politics of Bond was becoming a little bit outdated. The idea of kind of like monogamy and that as well, because you had sort of like free love, hippie movement coming out as well, the mid-60s as well. Beatlemania coming out as well, sort of swinging London.
You were unfaithful in the 1960s. Write to us at expectustotalk@gmail.com.
I mean, the way I see it is just like, this is like just the universe of which the Bond films live in. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's a different reality.
No, I'm not commenting on it being right or wrong.
Hyper real, isn't it?
No, but that's kind of how you kind of see it. It's just it's like you don't go in thinking like because I'll be honest. One of the things that does kind of hurt me about some people have a tendency to sort of when they watch a film go, oh god, that's so realistic because that would never happen in my perfect or whatever. To get really technical, you go, it's a film.
It's just a movie, or it's just a book, or it's just
it can't be 100% absolutely.
You would
realistic,
very likely be a product of your time if you were back then as well.
Yeah,
to at least some
degree.
I mean, there are always more liberal and progressive people.
compare and
But
contrast with like Ipcress,
yeah,
for example. I mean, they're probably good. There's probably some detractors who are going to say, well, actually, I mean, it's considered more gritty, more real, and it shows like the mundanity, day-to-day kind of version of the everyday grunt work of sort of spycraft, as it were. Um,
brilliant effect. That is quite.
it's really
You
cleverly
can
done,
see
isn't it?
it's cleverly done for its time. The giveaway is because everything's on film. That the through the doorway is a bit more degraded film, so it's
A
a
bit
second
graininess of
pass.
it.
Yeah, they've re-put it through to film that bit, if you
I
like.
think on the 4K, I don't have the setup, but I think on the 4K they do try to improve on it a little bit,
Yeah.
and clean it up a little bit more to kind of the color correction as well. Um,
What I love is if this was real life, when you see it in the paper sometimes like somebody spent £150,000 to look like David Beckham. And when you see them, it's basically a slightly effeminate fat man with like blonde hair. Or you know what I mean? It's like in reality, this guy would just have the vaguest of passing
it would look a
resemblances.
little bit like it, and plus, yeah, it need a lot of for the scars and one thing or another. Um, but just a show of
Yeah.
his age, that sort of thing, and his
Voice
range.
lessons.
Voice
Voice
lessons.
lessons. Does he need them for
He spent
what?
millions, had all his lessons, and he still at the end of the day wears the cap too far back on his head and doesn't even know that he didn't say ciao. It's like, just get it right. You spend all that time and money,
Yeah.
get it right. You're fired. But it's right, he's killed off anyway, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
So where do we stand on Fiona Volpe? Is she like the ultimate femme fatale in Bond?
Oh yeah. She's one of the absolute best in the series.
I
Whether
don't
you
think.
count her in the femme fatale or the Bond
Yeah.
girl category, she's in the top few.
Oh, she's one of the best like henchmen or women.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah,
Who's
she's
who's more
fantastic.
who's more deadlier, her or Xenia on the top?
I prefer it to Xenia. I prefer it to Xenia.
Yeah,
Um,
I think she's a bit the gold standard. I
and
think gold.
I tell you what tells you how good she was. They almost tried to do her again 2 years later,
Mm.
didn't they? Because that Karen Dor, mate, what's she called
And
from?
Helga
What's she
Brandt.
called? The next Helga Brandt is almost like dead spit of
Yeah,
her.
she's kind of like a redhead, quite busty, very
Mm.
beautiful. I kind of feel like
Busty. Mm.
bust. Well, no, I probably can't say that, but
Was she busty?
beautiful.
In which case you can say it.
Speaking of somebody who is a bit baby myself, what I was going to say. Oh yeah, I feel like Karen Dor. Like obviously she appeared in Hitchcock's spy movie, which we'll eventually cover in our series when we get
Yep.
back to it. As much as I'm kind of not really inclined to, I kind of feel like we should.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because it's a bit boring, but I think it's quite interesting anyway. But yeah, I kind of feel like Karen Dor, her career should have been bigger than what it is. I think domestically she had quite a good run, sort of an interesting career. But I feel like internationally, I think I'm sure maybe among European fans, like more famous. But I kind of feel like, yeah, her career could have been a bit bigger. Maybe she didn't want to due to the fame, that sort of thing, or perhaps I don't know quite what the story is there.
She's
But
passed away now, hasn't she?
no, yeah, very sad. But I think here,
But she's
you know
great in
twice.
this.
She's fabulous, and you know twice
Mm.
definitely. And yeah, when we come to a Hitchcock film, she's on screen for like minutes.
God almighty, he's been out with that chamois leather for about 20 minutes now, hasn't he?
Shabby leather, touch of mink, darling.
I know it's a touch of mink. It just looks funny because I've never seen that in any other film. Some
No,
guy I mean, he's must be very, very grateful for whatever he just got.
and that scene as well. I'm not that I'm looking, but there's obviously with Bond, there's a lot of like near nudity
Yeah,
as well.
and sometimes actual nip slips. Yeah,
And not that I'm looking, of course. Too busy looking at Bond. Um,
yeah, but in our Her Majesty's Secret Service, where like Andrea Scola's like nipple shows,
yeah,
the camera
you
isn't
could
on
literally.
Bond, so you've
Well,
got plenty of time to look.
the whole title sequence there is like nip. So
I love that. He's just kissed her on the cheek like he's off to work.
yeah, see you
It's
later,
just
darling.
like all the passion's gone already.
Oh, it's because she reported him for being a bastard. So, but yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? I mean, like to a modern day audience,
I don't have a problem.
it's
It's
a
of
little
its
bit
time.
it's a little bit cringe, but you just have to kind
No,
of
I've no problem with that. The only thing that I find interesting is when you see these things and just go, imagine that now.
yeah,
That's
imagine
not
that wouldn't
saying
happen.
it was wrong then. I love it in here because he elbows a fire alarm, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
that must really hurt.
No, but the first thing I thought of was that when I saw Daniel Craig tear off a door handle in Quantum of Solace.
Yes, or when
Exact
it's
same
I
energy.
casually shook it.
just
Yeah,
casually, yeah,
yeah, just
wrenched it off.
exact same energy.
Yeah, it's the same. I wonder if that was
He
the
had the
reference.
same economy of movement.
Same vibe.
It's just the
Yeah.
casualness of it, of just like, yeah,
Mm.
just
It's casual violence.
Yeah, facial expression doesn't even change. It's just the job.
No.
I'm just doing it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
He's,
this
he's
is
not. He's not effing around.
unless in retrospect, this is the last time we get peak Sean Connery because in 2 years' time he's less interested. And I said this online once, and someone just got into tried to get into a massive argument with me because they weren't listening to what I said. He only signed on for or he only agreed to do the next film quite late in the day. He didn't get himself in as good a shape, so he's visibly carrying a few more pounds, right? That is not saying the guy's obese,
No. I mean,
morbidly
it's yeah.
obese, or
It's not
even
like.
overweight. But by Diamonds, his weight's all over the place. His application is okay, but the version is misogynistic. This is the last time we see peak Sean Connery
I think
as
he's
James
having a bit
Bond.
more fun. I would say he's arguably having more fun in Diamonds, even though that's a bit all over the place.
Well,
Um,
he barely fucking smiles, so I'm not sure about
I
that.
mean, he just appears to kind of have more fun, like in the role.
I don't know. I
Obviously,
feel like he
the
wants
lure
to
of a
slap
million
everyone.
dollars, the lure of a
I
million
thought he
dollars
was.
back then.
I thought he was a real not misogynist.
Miserable git,
However you want to say misanthrope was the word I was looking for. That,
misanthropic.
yeah, misanthropic. He just hated everything. The thing is, they made a Roger Moore film and put a miserable Sean Connery in it.
Yeah,
If Roger Moore had made Diamonds Are Forever and
it would have been a bit easier. I think the tone would have been a bit easier to take.
played it like his Spy Who Loved Me version, it would have worked better.
I kind of diamonds is something that does it continues to be a bit strange for me. But it's another one that kind of goes up in my estimation as well. I mean, I was lucky this summer to visit Las Vegas with On the Tracks. Um,
Hmm.
I'm so lucky. I would probably never get a chance to do that again.
We're going to
Um,
find out Becca's got an OnlyFans. I don't know how she does all this.
do I?
We're going to find that out, aren't we? You're funding this somehow, woman.
That's news to me.
Mm,
Um, no, I just managed to get a good deal on tickets.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's just one of those things where like if you can sort of visit sort of certain locations.
Mm.
Although having said that, Fleming was actually buried, obviously not near me, but like in down here
He's just under your bed.
yeah, he's buried around the corner. I'm in the north of the county, and no, I'm in the south of the county. Fleming's buried in the north of the county. I've not made it there yet, so I need to go and make that pilgrimage. But yeah, I was lucky to visit some Las Vegas uh, locations, and some which are quite sort of remote and out of the way, like when they're kind of in the desert almost. Um, and to see how they kind of lined various shots up and how they filmed it and how they put it all together, it just kind of gives sort of a lowly person like me um, more of a sort of technical appreciation as well. Especially knowing that they filmed some scenes in Utah, which I didn't realize, and how they sort of marry those two scenes up. I mean, they're going to be sort of broadly similar shot in the desert, but you
Yeah.
wouldn't necessarily know one from the other, as a layperson. So I
But
can appreciate it a
Vegas
little bit
was
more on that
very
level.
different. Vegas was very different in
Oh God,
1971,
it
though,
really
wasn't
was. Yeah, definitely. Like for example, we sort of stayed at that hotel, which is quite famous. So it was the White House. Um, what was the White House in the film? Um, it's called the Westgate. It was known for a while for being a home of a big Star Trek sort of convention. And so it's actually kind of like just one big tower, and the tower on top of it, as in the film, was actually a matte painting.
it? Matt painted, yeah.
And just literally the rest of the city is shot up around it. You see the shot of the White House with like surrounded by like parking, car park, that
Mm.
sort of thing, and not very many other buildings around it. And obviously, in that sort of 50 odd years intervening, just the rest of the
I
attractions
think
are shot up around it, really. So,
to the British sensibility, and I don't speak for all Brits, but I speak for myself, and I imagine a lot of people. There's a bit of a wonder to Vegas in a way, because of its success, but I would call it almost it's kind of almost overwhelming now, and at very worst a bit lurid. Whereas you look at the 1970s version, and it's tacky. You wouldn't
it's
necessarily
still a
quite
bit
use the
tacky.
word. I'm not sure if tacky's the word I'd use. I'd use a sort of glitzier version of that
I,
word if there's such a
I
thing.
wonder. I mean, I wonder how it would be if you were there at the time, because I mean, at the time, you see films like like Diamonds and various other films like that, and yeah,
Yeah.
it does look like you just sense the cigarette ash, of everywhere.
You can smell it, can't you?
Yeah,
You really
it
can
But
smell it.
almost feels like a British seaside town, and it's
but
that's
Oh
not a
God.
compliment. That's
but
not
if
a compliment.
but if you were actually there, is that actually how it was though? Like, well, was it? Did it
Is it an
actually?
accurate
Could be
reflection of
the
what it was at the
could
time?
be
Yeah,
the way it was shot, to say the least. Yeah.
because 70s film does have that kind of grimy.
Sort of, yeah, lurid
It's
sort of quality to
it's
it,
Yeah,
very different film stock from the 60s. Yeah.
yeah.
for sure. No, I think it's probably
Mm.
it depends on who you ask. Like, it can be sort of glitzy, it can be glamorous, but at the same time, it can be sort of like grimy, quite lurid, quite desperate. But yeah, it depends on who's asking. But we had a great time on our trip. I personally didn't gamble, um, but I know some of the guys who did and did all right, and had a good time.
I mean,
But
it's nice to just walk around, and you got like sunny weather. I
yeah,
mean,
there's
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
so much to do. Like, if you don't gamble as well, there's so many different kind of museums and other
I mean,
attractions that you can go to.
the
You can
the
sort of, yeah.
things that irritate me the most are with the people, just them like sort of little pocket of like cards of like for sex shows. I
Oh
used to walk past like on every corner, and they used to hear
yeah, they're all,
the
yeah,
you know
it's hawking all the time. It's just like, no, go away,
you
leave
just
me
hear the
alone.
sort of it's like I was like just fuck off.
Yeah, leave me alone. Yeah, it's a bit dodge. I can imagine, like, I remember going years ago with my dad. I think I was under 21 at the time, so obviously couldn't do very much at all. Didn't have like too much of that. Obviously dad was like shielding from it. But then we didn't see too much of that this time around as well. They can't solicit it for it as much. But the signs are still there. So, but again, I can, if you don't gamble, I can still, and if you, especially if you want to go to America at the moment, obviously with a certain president in charge, um, that's up to you.
I
That's
think the
fine.
thing is,
But highly recommend a visit if you get a chance.
although Vegas is sort of at least somewhat unique, I don't know if it's completely unique now, as in, I don't know if there's things in the Far East a bit like it or whatever, or Chinese copies or whatever, but I think the bottom line with it is nothing about it. This isn't a comment on America, the USA, or North America generally. It's just a comment on Las Vegas. Of all the places I would go in the world, that would be fucking flat bottom of my list,
Yeah,
apart from like
yeah,
war zones. Well,
not ideal.
think about it, right? If you think about my sensibility in the country I'm from, and like some of my favorite places in the world, and my wife being Eastern European and things like that, I like places with a bit of fucking history.
Bit of culture.
So the last place I want to go is look at this. I just that's not to slag it off. It might be absolutely
There are
fantastic,
parts of
but
America that
it's
you can
just
go
not somewhere I
to.
want to go. Yeah.
No, there are parts of America that you
Oh,
can
I
go
love
to that
bits
do
of
have
New
history,
England
that
and
do have
stuff.
culture.
Yeah, I loved bits of New England and stuff like that.
Just
Boston
maybe
you
not.
quite like, don't you?
Yeah, Boston.
Boston, like I say, this is not an
Chris, you've been to
insult
New
to
York a few
any
times, haven't
American,
you?
but
Mm.
honestly, this is not an insult to anyone listening from America. We got a lot of you, and I get on well with an awful lot of you as well. It's not blind hatred for a country.
No, we do
It's
like our
just
American
saying,
fans.
it is just, no, it's just saying that I'd never particularly choose to live there. It's never appealed to me. But if you said to me, of all the places you visited there, and I've visited a few now, I mean, not even close to majority of states, but I've visited a few. If you said you're forced to live somewhere, I would pick Boston, and I'll tell you why, because it's like an American version of a British city. It just is. It's no accident that's sort of New England, because it's like if you took Americans on a tour of our country and said build your version at home, I feel like they build Boston.
And you got cheers, so hurrah.
Well, that was half of it. I like the burger. Well worth a 7 hour flight. Um, no, I just like the feel of it, but that's because it feels what it is, New England. I can't. And the other thing is, right, I'm not saying I like cold, wet, miserable weather because I don't. I'd rather live down in Spain or something. But when I went there, it felt like a British day as well. It just like, and I don't mean it was pissing down. I mean it was just a bit overcast and a bit drizzly, and it felt at times like being in this country.
I think because of where they're situated as well, they're sort of, as you say, their climate is a little bit unique on that regard. So
Mm. But yeah, so they're about to. This is one of the things that people have a problem with, and I know that we got listeners who don't like this film very much, and I actually
yeah,
fully
back to
respect it.
Thunderball.
But you can't watch it. You can't watch it with a 2025 sensibility to understand why it was a huge hit at the time. This quality of photography, I don't know if it had been done before on this scale. But the problem is, you watch it now, and this is all incredibly slow. For those not watching along with us, the Francois Deval copy guy has just basically
Is he a clone?
been he's just basically, his plane's underwater and they've just tied it up and nicked the weapons.
I think this is one of those films. Like, I mean, it still contains sort of fantastical elements. So, like, obviously, we've seen later on we'll see like the sharks. We saw the bit with the jetpack, the famous jetpack at the beginning of the film. We
Yeah.
also got like the gadget laden DB5 as well. But I think with this one, there's a lot more kind of like spycraft, a lot more espionage, a lot more sort of sabotage, that sort of thing. And it's one of those Bond films where kind of like some of them a bit more tightly plotted. Some of them you can just check the brain at the door. Haven't
Do you
really
know
got to
what I
worry. It's so
genuinely think?
fantastical. But I think this one
Two way
sometimes you do have to not that we aren't, not that anybody is, but some of them I feel like you do have to pay attention a little bit. And with this one, like if it's on or if I'm gonna, I've got to pay attention. I've got to pay attention to 007. I've got to
Do
watch
you know
it.
what? This film has two flaws when watching it today as opposed to in the 60s. One is the editing. There's too many speeded up bits that just it's worse in this film than any other. And the second thing is, like I said, and I think somebody's literally done the maths on this at some point, it's like 25% underwater people fighting slowly. Now, if you
It's pretty
still
much
want
like that.
if you edited that tighter and it was 10% of the film of people underwater fighting slowly, and you gave a little bit more character to Largo because he is basically just an eye patch, this could have been a lot better. I think literally they were so impressed with I don't know. They were so. It's a bit like, I don't know, Paul W.S. Anderson with his fucking slow-mo, or, like, I can do this, so I'm going to do it all the fucking time. And I feel like they fell in love with this beautiful photography and they shot a bit too much of it. That's it.
No, it
The
is a good. I
underwater
wonder
stuff.
if an element of it was kind of was innovative. We perhaps hadn't seen it on this sort of scale before.
Yeah.
Um, but I must say on the 4K, it does look beautiful. I mean, and I just got the 2012 50th anniversary box set, the Blu-ray box set that came
Yeah,
out,
yeah.
and it's still. I mean, just on my
It
little,
still looks good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't got that much of a setup really. Just like HDTV player, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, nothing too special. Which I'm quite lucky to have and quite grateful for. It still looks good, still sounds good. Um, but
Yeah.
it's just one of those things, really, wasn't it? You kind of have to do a bit of reading up for it and kind of read up the sort of going up if you want to sort of appreciate it a little bit more. Um, Also, did we ever find out what Vargas does? Does not eat, does not drink, does not make love. What does Vargas do?
What are you talking about?
I just wonder what Vargas does.
The henchman.
The henchman Vargas
Oh,
What do
does
you
right.
not
Okay.
do?
does not smoke, does not drink, does not make love. What do you do, Vargas? Do we ever find out what he does? I think we did.
Well, to be
I
fair, it depends how you define making love. He might be a chronic masturbator. It doesn't mention gambling. So basically,
No,
he goes into a casino, wins, and then wanks himself
and then
silly.
this is it. So if you want to
And the
visit,
funny thing is, that car there, the
he,
DB5,
he
you
builds
don't
model
see it.
train sets. There you are, Becca.
there we go. He
You,
built. That's the
you
one.
don't see this car after this film for 30 years, and they should really take a leaf out of that book. Because Amazon, I think we'll probably see it in the next film, because Amazon will want to reassure the fan
I
base.
wonder if we will
But
see the DB5 again.
I think we might
Or
see it next time out because they'll want to reassure the
yeah.
base. It's
At
a
the
bit
same
like
time, I kind of
that's
part of me
why
wants to see a
Brosnan
different
had it.
car.
That's why Brosnan had it. It's been a long gap. It's the same Bond.
Well, it
It's the
was
guy
seven.
you
It was
know.
6 years.
Yeah, but that was a long gap at the time. The Cold War ended in the interim.
Yeah.
GoldenEye, love it or hate it, is a greatest hits Bond film. That's what they'll make next time. So I think we may well see the DB5. But after that, fucking retire it. Have it in the back of shot if
Dave
you want it
says,
sometimes. If he comes out of MI6 and there it is in the background somewhere, fine. But they're just rolling it out like it's the most exciting thing in the world every time. And it's not even my favourite Bond car.
was it Reese Briggs? Can't think what he
Yeah,
calls, but
I
But
think. I mean,
oh, Silverstone.
I don't mind it being around like, as a casual thing, but that's it. It's like
it shouldn't be front and centre.
it's when it's when they sort of proper masturbate over it and go like, oh, look at that!
Oh, yeah,
It's
I
just
know it's horrible.
a
In
bit much.
Skyfall, which I don't dislike, it was almost like, this is the bit you've been waiting for.
Yeah, here
And
it
it's like,
is.
I couldn't give
Well,
a fuck if I never saw it again.
I'm sorry, it's a bit of contention with me, Skyfall, about that
No, I know.
we'll get there. We'll get there.
it's
Don't
the
think
whole
about it too hard, but it's well made.
it's the whole exploding pens. Oh, we don't go for that.
And
Oh,
then
and
they
then like,
do.
and then
How
to
much
have
of this set is, sorry guys, how much of this set is real and how much of it's matte painting? Because I think it's gorgeous.
That was beautiful. I
This is
think
the end briefing room. It's my one of my favorite sets in
Whitehall
all of
briefing
Bond.
section.
Yeah,
I think probably an aspect of it must be like matte painting, but it's beautiful, isn't it?
probably the
Exquisite,
ceiling. I love it.
exquisite. Yeah,
you know what?
this is one of those few Bond films where like
I've
you can visit lots of locations.
I've I've
Sorry,
sorry
Chris.
sorry no I just say this because it just struck me now. I've just sort of noticed the parallels between this and the Blofeld, the Spectre meeting.
Ah, there we
Because
go.
you got like got M as like
Yep,
it's the Blofeld type meeting all his agents.
Mm,
yep,
yeah.
It's
yep.
just like it just struck me. It's like, oh shit, we don't actually see that.
Well, I think no, this is. I think that was probably one of the first early times
Yeah.
that we do
If
see
they
kind of most if not all of the Spectre agents, and then now this is the first time we see all of the Double O agents, which I think is
yeah.
quite interesting. Yeah, I think that's a really good parallel, Chris. That's really interesting.
Bernard Lee should have a bag over his head so we don't see his face either. Just
or
if you
or
wanted
the
to make the
PM
parallel obvious.
or the PM at the time pop up and be like, "Hello."
Well, they haven't decided like who they're going to cast yet. For the third, fourth time in a row.
Oh, it's Blofeld. Uh, 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 no, I'm thinking of. Am I thinking of this film or am I thinking of Russia with Love? Wasn't the body?
The
Um,
body and voice were two different actors.
no, forget the voice. The body, wasn't it the guy who played Strangways, or was that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So yeah, just provided the body. I like that. It was
So
really
if
odd.
anybody looks
See,
in through that window, they can see this top secret map.
yeah, and we
If
don't
you're
know
living
what
high
floor
up
it's on
in the
either.
business
Can
in
you
the
imagine if that's ground floor and the milkman just walks by? He goes,
oh,
"Oh,
excuse me,
fucking hell!"
you have to sign an NDA.
No, actually, that looks like a balcony on the outside, so it's at least one floor up.
Yeah, but then if you're in the building across the road, you can look through the window and see top secret information.
It's not at the right angle for that.
No, I know, but I'm just
You'd
joking.
have to do one of those Blade Runner tricks where you like do it off a mirror or
You would.
I wonder if any agents are going into the next one. I can't bloody think. Wish you speak up.
I can't. Oh, damn thing! What the hell is she on about?
If he was going through those photos, and she looked like Bella Emberg, I bet he'd have gone somewhere else. He'd have gone to Canada. That's a dated reference for anyone listening to us.
That is. But I was gonna say, had he actually gone to Canada, it would have been a very boring film. I mean, very beautiful, but this film was also beautiful.
I love that you don't like offending anyone. Boring, but beautiful.
But it would have been very boring. We wouldn't have gone to Nassau.
Yeah, only because the plot device wasn't up there. That's all we're saying.
No, I don't think has Bond been. Obviously, he's been in the books, I think, but he hasn't. Has he been to Canada in the films? I don't think so.
No, he hasn't been in the films, to my knowledge.
No.
Not all of the ski locations were named, so it's possible. I
Yeah.
mean, 5 days to Alaska from where? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't think so. And in the books, I've read them all, but what book does he go there in?
I think he has been to Canada.
All right, brilliant. I've got some extra insights there.
Hold on, quick googling.
Bond says he fancies a shag, so that's enough reason
Oh,
for
that's
me
good.
to
Okay, yeah, he drinks a
inquire.
martini.
Mm, that's all.
Excuse me, I
But to
apologize.
be fair, I'm only kidding because it is genuine. Yes, he's attracted to that domino, but he did see that guy at Shrubland, so he's the same guy, or at least the same face.
Listeners,
Look,
if you're in the
Amazon.
UK
Look,
and want to
Amazon. It's 2 doors, right? Amazon, if you're listening, it's 2 doors.
get it right.
Yeah, and he
I
must sexually harass the secretary.
I don't think they're even going to have like an briefing bit a room.
No,
No, I think it's going to be like, oh well, new location. Oh, new location.
No,
we'll
I
do
think
it.
they will,
We'll do it
but
on
they
the
may
on the
do.
hop.
They may do a golden eye. They're either going to go one route or the other. They're either going to say, "This is the Bond you all fell in love with. We're updating him, but all the things you love are still there because we're quite an aging conservative fan base, and they won't want to lose us as well." But the other extreme is they go, "This isn't, a bit like this isn't your dad's Star Trek when J.J. Abrams' film came
Well,
out."
I mean,
They could do a golden eye and just do something that
this isn't your dad's
spirits.
Bond.
well,
Well, Golden Judi Dench's office in GoldenEye was spiritually similar, but it was
Hmm.
just dressed differently.
the thing is though, like Denis Villeneuve has said, it's like, oh, I'm a huge fan of the franchise. My favorite's Casino Royale, Skyfall. I'm like, okay,
Um,
okay. So you sounds like you just like the Daniel Craig stuff then.
Yeah, and also you're aware somebody's going to read your comments, and you don't want to put like no people
you
like
didn't want to
us will eat
say
it up,
never say never
but you
again.
want young fans. You want young
Yeah.
fans to watch it as well. So you're not going to say I like Thunderball because they're just going to be what that one with the slow swimming from
Yeah, I like
fucking
From Russia with
60
Love.
years
Really? What's
ago.
that?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that definite, but it does make me go, okay. I do hope you like more than that.
Yeah, but I
Um,
mean, if those two are your favorite, then fine. Whatever your feelings on Skyfall, it's in a lot of people's top tens at least. And Casino Royale is considered one of the better films in the series. And Skyfall is a lot of people's favorite, not a majority, but a lot of people's favorite Craig film. So, in and of itself, it wouldn't worry me. If someone said to me they were their favorite too, my follow-up question would be, have you seen
Why?
them all? No, no, it wouldn't. I think it's a defensible opinion, provided I know they've seen more than the last 20 years worth.
Yeah. No, it's perfectly fine. People like what they
Mm.
like. It's okay. There's no right.
Yeah, but
Well,
what Chris is saying is, well, have they even seen The Man with the
have
Golden
they
Gun
seen
then?
the others? Yes, exactly.
Not that that would rank very high, but
If
you know
if
what
your
I
answer
mean.
is Die Another Day, then you're out. But no, I'm only joking. Um,
No, I'm not. Fucking not.
Incidentally, listeners, if you want to visit some locations, obviously you can go to the Bahamas as well. Um, you can actually visit Den and Quarry, and you can also visit, obviously, the street where Largo parks, and he goes, no parking here. It's just up the road from
And if you
Eiffel
want to
Tower,
visit any of
obviously.
the locations from Die Another Day, just get a graphics card from a 2001 computer.
Just go down to the south coast of
This
Britain,
is
and you'll be there.
this is Martine Bezic again. She was one of the gypsy girls in From Russia with Love that Bond ended up having both of at the same time.
No, she's very glamorous, isn't she? Definitely. Listeners, I can highly recommend another Bond podcast. There will be Bond, um, hosted by Pete and Rob, huge Bond fans. So after going through,
You'd hope so, wouldn't you, with a name like that?
yes, definitely.
If they come on
Um,
and talk about fucking Brookside, it'd be rubbish.
well, yeah, obviously Pete used to host from Taylor's with Love, which is very focused on kind of like the sort of the Bond costumes, Bond outfits, tailoring that sort of thing.
Nylon
Whenever you
safari
see him,
suits, that sort of stuff, yeah.
safari suits, yes, no, very important. Whenever you see him attending events and everything,
Mm.
Pete is always a very snappy dresser anyway, and always tries to make it, if not the same brand, then as screen accurate as possible.
I
Um,
think Daniel Craig's pants are based on those as well.
I was gonna say, I think he got that. That's where he got the idea from.
For Casino Royale.
Um,
Not his everyday underwear. That
but
doesn't
just
mean
the blue tight trousers.
just now he's sat in
Yeah.
New York at home with Rachel Weisz wearing like that. No.
He's a bit more Benoit Blanc these days, isn't he? In terms of like his fashion, Daniel Craig is more Blanc than Bond.
Well, I mean, even if he'd survived the last one, he is 100% too old to play Bond now, even if they tarted him up a bit. Towards the end of No Time to Die, I was starting to think, yeah, it is your time. You look all right, but it is your time. But yeah, it's the commitment to location shooting can't be underestimated with this series.
No, it's really good, especially with the bigger budget as well.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
I think that's something that obviously, like with Bond, obviously that there are aspects of rear projection, green screen as the series went on for various reasons, for budget reasons, or perhaps they weren't able to
Some
film
of
on a
it was
location.
technology. I mean,
Yeah,
could you really
technological
front?
advances.
If you think about Doctor No, I don't know the answer to this, but I suspect it's no. Could you really mount a camera on the front of a car to do like a, cliff top chase then?
Probably not in 1962. Um,
Wait till you get to my teeth. I always thought that was a bit of a shit line, actually. Didn't like that
I
line
think that's
very
a
much.
great line.
But well, you got a tongue behind that. Why are you stopping at your teeth? Were you eating her? Well,
Well, the
not
thing is,
eating her that way.
we joke about Brosnan, like, who preferred to sort of nibble on his Bond ladies, but obviously Connery liked to do the same as well. Connery's Bond perhaps liked to do the same. I don't know.
Yeah, but
Um,
Brosnan at least waited till they were dead.
well, Paris, oh dear. Um,
I just love that. I don't as I say, I don't hate Largo, but he doesn't make a massive impression on me past the visuals. But the set design and location shooting in this is utterly
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's a really beautiful film to look at. Definitely, this
Yeah.
is another scene scenes I'd like to see in Bond. Um, Obviously, you might not see it anymore because perhaps rooms aren't bugged or whatever like they used to be in the 60s.
Checking for bugs.
Yeah, I would like to see kind of
I
Bond,
love that.
sneaky Bond checking out for any bugs in the hotel
Yeah.
room or anything that might
Just don't
be.
do it for 20 minutes
No,
with your theme tune playing for
just
ages. But yeah,
just five will do.
no, just a quick
Um,
cursory glance that he's alert. I like that.
and also like Bond going into a really swanky hotel, so he goes into the Ritz or something like that. Um, I mean, we saw it a few times across the Brosnan era, or we saw it in a couple of times, obviously in Daniel Craig. But yeah, I would like to see kind of Bond in a tuxedo walking across this really nice, really posh hotel
Yeah.
that otherwise the sleep people wouldn't ordinarily have access to. But no, Adolfo Celli as Largo, where does he rank for you guys? Is he sort of high ranking, low ranking, mid tier villain? Where does he
I can't
rank?
remember.
He's low. He's for me. I'll just answer very quickly, and then Chris, you can answer. But I'd say lower mid tier, and the reason I'd say is he's not one of these embarrassing ones where you go, "Oh, that's ridiculously over the top," or "It's really Marmite," or "He's hardly in it at all." Um, but he has, beyond the eye patch, very few distinguishing characteristics. He's got relatively few lines I remember particularly well, and I just think he's a bit okay.
So
I prefer Maximilian Largo, put it that way.
yeah,
Mm.
how is he comparing the books? Like in terms of like what is there anything in the books that you think? Because I've yet to read Thunderball, but what
Oh,
where
I've not
do
read it for ages, actually.
so where
Unfortunately, I cannot
where
remember.
where does
Yeah,
how is this?
Adolfo Celli's not in the book. He doesn't appear
No,
in the book.
No, I mean
Uh,
Largo, like
he's
the
he
been
was
written out.
represented by some words. I don't remember, it's the truth. I've only read Thunderball once. It was relatively faithful as I recall. But I mean, Maximilian Largo, he's in the same sort of station in life
hmm,
with the same boat and everything, but it's a wildly different performance.
hmm.
And actually, that was meant to adapt the book closer, so I don't actually remember. But whilst I think Never Say Never Again, yeah, bit better paced in the first two thirds than this, but it's not as good a film, in my opinion, by any means. They do a really good villain in that film. In fact, it would have been better if without Klaus von Glockenspiel, Max von whatever. No, because I actually prefer the sort of slightly sort of obscured one here, and it doesn't actually need Blofeld. The only reason it's there is because Kevin McClory fucking can, and he's like, hey, I got Blofeld. I wouldn't have bothered. But Maximilian Largo's great, and although she's batshit in the way she's written, not just the acting performance, but the way she's in the plot, Fatima Blush is brilliant as well. So there's a lot
She's
in this sort of.
fabulous. She's
There's a
fabulous.
lot in this sort of these two characters, but yeah.
Mm.
But my only problem with Domino because she's objectively gorgeous, but I find her quite bland. The character.
Oh, here you go. And this is just off Wikipedia, so apologies for that one. In the
Mm.
novel, Largo is depicted as a large, muscular, olive-skinned, powerful man exuding animal charm, with a profile of a Roman emperor, hooked nose, long sideburns, and hairy hands, which are likened to crawling tarantulas. Largo's name refers to a musical tempo meaning slow and broad.
Okay.
Adolfo Celli
I'm
strongly
sort. I'm sort
resembles
of.
his
I'm
literary
sort of
counterpart.
Yeah. I'm sort of picturing Andre the Giant. That can't be right.
Yeah, I've not read it for a long time. Um,
I mean, there's bits of that. He's got a bit of that about the nose.
it was
He's a
dubbed
bit of
by
a.
Robert
He's a.
Rietti.
He's a big. Yeah, but Robert Rietti, yeah, he also did the voice in some versions of Blofeld in the pre-title of For Your Eyes Only.
Yeah, also dubbed Strangways and Doctor No and Tiger Tanaka and You Only Live Twice as well. And apparently he was also in Never Say Never Again as Italian Minister, which I'd forgotten about. But yeah, no, I would kind of
Sorry,
tend
can
to
you say that
agree.
again? He was in what?
He was in Never Say Never Again as Italian Minister, apparently, which I didn't know about.
No idea.
Me neither. Um, but yeah, I think for me, like he's quite a physical. Like, he's still Adolfo Celli, he's a big guy, very physically menacing villain. And I think yeah, having
He's
the
on to a loser anyway, isn't he? Because he's following Goldfinger.
unfortunately, it's tough, big
Um,
shoes to fill, tough act to
the
follow,
next
definitely.
film's more memorable because even though I think Donald Pleasant's Blofeld, both as a visual, a voice, and what he does in the film is
He's a bit
one of
more
the most
iconic, isn't he?
I think he's one of the most wildly overrated things in the entire Bond series, but he's iconic. So
He is
yeah,
iconic in that role.
he's being bookended by a lot more memorable things.
this is it. I still think he kind of holds his own though. He's quite
He's
menacing,
fine.
even
He's
though he sort of
certainly
pops
not
up
bad. He's certainly
in
not bad.
no, he pops up in sort of other Euro spy sort of thrillers of the era, perhaps sending up this kind of this sort of role. Um, but yeah, I would kind of agree. Like he's sort of more physically menacing, but whereas Maximilian Largo, he's more sort of creepy, more sinister, more cerebral type villain as well,
And a bit unhinged.
and just nuts.
He is what Max Orange should have been. Because
Yeah,
like
the
Max
Future
Orange
Killers.
meant to be well, Max Orange was meant to be this genius and he was fucking shit at everything. So like, yeah, get Maximilian
No, but
Largo in
Future
it.
Killers
Creepy
also
and
gone up,
possessive.
shot up in my estimation since visiting locations. So, um,
I don't mind that film at all, but some of that's nostalgia. But it's not objectively good. But anyway,
it was the
I, I,
80s.
I just think that that View to Kill would have been better if it was Dalton. Can you imagine
of
like
course.
Oh
if
God,
I reckon
100%.
that would just lift everything up. But I
Mm.
think it would have like
So basically, if you, I think 3 out of the 5 80s Bond films are very good anyway. If you'd given Dalton all 5, he'd have had a grand slam.
he would have been Bond, the 80s Bond. Yeah,
Yeah,
for the entire decade, wouldn't he? Yeah.
Bond of the 80s.
because For Your Eyes Only's brilliant, but he would have been slightly better because it would have excised the stupid parrot shit and also the Margaret Thatcher jokes. But he's quite caring to Melina in that film. And
Mm.
if you look at
It
Dalton's
it
Bond
it
with
it it it,
Cara, it
it
suits
fits
him.
it fits Dalton. I did
Yeah,
watch that once, just picturing Dalton, and
Octopussy.
it just matched completely. I was like, oh my god, this is
Yeah,
like I want.
Octopussy. I don't know. I don't know about the others. Obviously, I know about the 2 he did. I don't know how the other 2 changed with him in, but I can see like For Your Eyes Only going from like a top 10 film in my estimation to possibly even a top 5 with him in it. With the few, not because Roger Moore was really bad in it or anything, although he was slightly too old, but he was pretty good in that film. But there are 1 or 2 things in a serious Bond film that are just tailored to his sensibility, and if you take them out, you get a better film. So we've got another Felix Leiter, and
Wait,
again, I don't understand this because he has a vaguely passing resemblance to Jack Lord, but they went with Cease Linder in the last film, who's like decades older, different skin color, different hair. Are we
Different
supposed
guy.
to? Are we supposed to know already this is Felix? I mean,
Is it interesting that we've had like obviously we've had a few different Bonds like every time, not every time, but for the majority of times we've had a new Bond, we've had also a new Felix. But I think in the last few films also we've gone through quite a few different Felixes.
yeah,
I would kind of feel this Felix. I kind of feel like he's at the Jack Lord. He looks very cool, he's very suave.
I don't
Um,
dislike him.
I just kind of feel like he's not in it as often
No,
as I
he
would like
doesn't
him
make
to
a good.
be.
The only when I say
And
I
when he
don't
is,
mind
he's
him,
obviously he's only there. He's
he's
sort
a
of like
visual.
a visual
He's
kind of
just a
aid,
visual.
and he's
Yeah,
only there
he's
to kind
just
of
yeah.
to
He
pump up
looks like
Bond.
Felix Leiter. Yeah,
Looks like Felix Leiter, right? Okay.
yeah. Well, he does, doesn't he? He looks a bit like very slightly.
He's
Only
American
very slightly.
CIA agent.
Yeah, with sort of it's not blonde hair, but it's sort of a bit lighter, isn't it? And it's just like yeah,
Felix Leiter.
it's I
I
genuinely
mean,
think he's
Yeah,
the problem with Felix in the films is that it's just got no because it's a different actor every time. It's got no consistency in
no
terms of,
continuity.
but it doesn't really feel like he's a character. He's just like, yeah, he's just an American agent. It pops up.
he just turns up if Bond's in the right
I
place.
mean, he's still my favorite ally though. Like of all the Bond
Yeah,
allies, he's probably my favorite.
I mean, I was gonna say it's like let's keep tradition, just cast Felix Leiter every time, every film. just like,
Yeah, different actor.
just have someone with a
Who are
different
you?
take. Yeah,
Maybe
But
he's a
just
doctor. Maybe he's a doctor and
make
he
it
regenerates
wildly
every
different.
time.
He's so, like in one film it's a 4-year-old. In the next film
The
it's
next film, it's a
Mrs. Brown
woman.
from Mrs. Brown's
Yeah,
Boys.
this is Felicia Leiter.
In the next film it's like George Clooney. In the film after that
That would be
it's
amazing.
like
Can you imagine? Oh my
fucking
god.
Uma Thurman. Yeah.
Can you imagine George Clooney? Oh my gosh.
Mm.
Could do a
I mean
shot.
that would work. I mean, my choice would be
Bit too
Sam
old now,
Rockwell.
but yeah.
My choice would be Sam
Sam
Rockwell.
Rockwell, again, might be
Oh,
too old by the time
yeah,
we
he'd be
get
good.
round to it, but he would be fantastic actually because he could do
Agreed.
anything. The closest modern equivalent to the description in the books is Matthew McConaughey, but again, he would be too old now. When they go and cast
Agreed.
like a 36-year-old Bond or whatever.
Mind you, how old is Connie's son's acting?
No idea. I didn't know I don't know his family arrangements. I don't know what kids he has. Is that the way we just do it? We just cast people. We just cast. Right, so we pick the people we think are good for it, and then just cast their children because they're too old. Who would you like? Oh, who would you have most liked to have seen as Bond? Lewis Collins. He's got a grandchild somewhere, hasn't he?
Got to be, surely.
Hey, Matthew Conaughey's son Levi to make an acting debut. He's
Sorry, you
60.
can't. Sorry, I'm
He's
not having.
16. He's
I'm
16 now,
sorry,
so
I'm not. Yeah, and I'm not having someone called Levi in the Bond fucking series. Fuck off. If you have to name him after some clothing, call him Trousers McConaughey. Really, really make him fit in with a British film series. Cardigan Mahoney.
I would like to draw attention to Q's jazzy pineapple shirt.
I never noticed that. Is that pineapples on them? Is
I think
it?
it's pineapple, yeah, blue and yellow
I
and
never
green
noticed
pineapples
that.
on that jazzy shirt
How does
that Q
that?
is wearing. I think it
Well,
looks
of
like
course,
pineapples to me. I just think it looks like a jazzy shirt.
it
really
is.
getting the benefit out of the big screen, aren't you, with that?
Yes, you are. In 4K, it looks spectacular. It's one of the few times that we see Q out in the field, so it's notable for that at least. Also, apologies, I'm eating an orange. So, Chris, that's part of your fruity corner there with the pineapple.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks for spotting.
Finally returned to your
Well,
fruity corner.
it's been promoted. It's exotic fruity corner.
Exotic, yes, exotic fruity corner.
Next step is erotic fruity corner.
Oh,
Where did that come about? Why did Fruity Corner come about? I forgot.
don't know.
Was it like search for a new segment or something?
It
Probably,
was in
yeah.
the
We needed a new, we needed a new item, didn't we? And we thought, right, fruity corner.
I think it might have been something in the Superman series. I
But
don't
it
know.
probably was.
You'd think The Godfather, but it wasn't. We were hyping that because of the amount of fruit in it.
Because of the oranges, yeah.
It's one of the Superman shows, but I couldn't tell you which one. If you know where Chris's obsession with fruit came from, write to us at
I knew you were
expected
going to say that, Dave.
What have I seen this guy in before?
Law.
What have I seen him in before? This minister guy.
Oh, this guy. He was born looking like that.
Well, yeah, based on Goldfinger, he's probably about 22, isn't he?
This RAF chap next to the minister, I feel like he should be John Lemasurio from.
I thought it was for a second.
Yeah, it needs to be. It's not, but it should be.
Again, if you don't know what we're talking about, listeners, one of the most venerated comedies. I think it's quite hideously dated now, but one of the most venerated comedies ever in this country was Dad's Army, which was on during the 60s and 70s. I nearly said 1670s. The 60s and 70s.
It was on 200 years ago.
Yeah, and it was all about the Home Guard during World War II, and it was a bunch of old men basically. And John Le Mesurier was like one of the lead actors in it. He was in a lot of things around that period.
What's his
And
name?
he was married to,
Culver, that's it.
and he was married to Hattie Jakes, who was the like overweight nurse in the Carry On films. When they were set in a hospital at all, of course. She didn't turn up in a police station dressed as a nurse or anything. Or like medieval England. She didn't turn up in like Carry On, Don't Lose Your Head dressed as a like NHS nurse.
But no, she often played like sort of like matronly type characters, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. She
yeah,
was played by
Roland
Ruth Jones
Culver,
of Gavin and Safety on
things.
TV.
Let's have a look.
Right. Oh, go on. Sorry, yeah, I did ask, didn't I?
Oh, that's good. No, I had to look up his name. Obviously, Wimpole of Bailey, Tales of
Right.
The Unexpected.
Everybody's been in Tales of the Unexpected. It's like Murder, She Wrote for British
Yeah,
actors.
it's over 150 credits.
Yeah.
Any quick films? Let's have a look.
Well, both Grandad and Uncle Albert were in it.
Yes, definitely.
So yeah,
everybody was in Tales of the Unexpected for sure.
Yeah.
And
the tales weren't
TV
particularly
work.
unexpected from memory. What else? I
That's
feel like
well.
I've seen him else. I feel like I've seen him in something quite big.
Yeah, he's done quite a few different things. Let's have a look. Just trying to go for so many credits to his name.
All right,
Dead of
don't worry
Night,
if there's
which I'll do if we ever do. Oh dear, if we ever do Ealing, I'm sure we'll do it.
Maybe I've seen him in
Kind of
that then,
Blimp,
or other.
obviously kind of Blimp, but I'm sure we'll do Pound
I've
Pressburger
seen
at some
that. I've
point.
seen that. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, he's one of our aircraft is missing, so he's in two Pound Pressburger. I didn't know that.
Okay. So I've
Um,
seen him in
No
stuff.
Train
Yeah.
to Munich, but a spy film. But yeah, but he's been in lots of TV work. You'll recognize his
Mm.
face. Do do do.
See, things like that were
Gideon's Way,
probably done in the
which is
tank.
on Talk of TV.
Yeah.
The Avengers, obviously, not the film series, but the
I know
TV
what you're talking
series.
about. Yeah.
Persuaders! Exclamation mark! Crown Court.
Again,
Oh,
Crown Court in the 70s. Every television actor went on it.
yeah, it's one of those shows that everybody was in.
It was
I've
like
not
an
seen it.
afternoon show that was exactly what it suggested. It was like reenactments of, I think, real court cases.
Yeah. Oh, Britannia Hospital, he was in that, if you ever saw that. The Missionary, he was
Mm.
in that, if you ever saw that. That was one of his last roles.
If you like missionary, write to us at expectustotalk@gmail.com. Okay, so we're about halfway through now, and he's just sort of killed someone, dropped in to kill him off the Disco Volante. Which was a shame because they had to. Disco
I mean,
Volante literally means flying
it's
saucer, but of course they had to change it for the remake.
it's pretty shit because I've never seen anyone dancing on no music. It's pretty crap disco if you ask me.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not great, not very good disco, is it?
Yeah.
yeah.
False advertising.
Yes, it really is. I
So
would
if
complain.
disco it means flying saucer. So does that mean in the 70s everyone out saucer dancing?
Probably.
I don't know if saucers are British things. Do you think Americans use saucers when they drink their coffee? Don't know.
Probably not. That's a very English thing to do with tea.
It is. Mind you, it's the stereotype. In
It
certain
is.
restaurants and tea rooms, none of us are doing it at home. We're all drinking out of mugs.
We might have some fine China sauces if you go to sort of, the retro, especially like any sort of indie tea room.
Obviously, I lift my pinky finger now and again just to
Yes,
keep it
a
match
dainty little
fit.
China mug, China tea
Well, you
cup.
don't want to get to. I don't want to get a cramp in it when I'm eventually in a post tea room from drinking tea, not fingering people.
Although we did have, where did we go? We
Glad you clarified.
went to Langham for afternoon tea. Very posh that was.
The
And yeah,
Langham
we
is
had
posh.
little. Yeah, it was very special. We don't do it on the regular. It's once in a
That
lifetime.
wasn't this year.
No, that was previously. But
Where
and we
you
had
been this year then? You went on holiday. You went on a Bond thing this year.
we went
That
on we
wasn't
went in
later.
the summertime.
Where was
But
that?
yeah, but my point is we had tea out of little Chinese saucers, cups of sauce.
Oh yeah.
That was my point. Rather than
Sorry,
go
I got
big builders mugs.
onto Bond locations. Didn't you go to one this year?
We went to two.
What ones?
We were lucky to go to San Francisco and Las Vegas.
Oh, Las Vegas was this year. Okay.
Yeah, that's the only trip. But they also ran a trip to Turkey, going around some of the locations from Commercial Love and Skyfall. But I did not go on that one.
Oh, and the world is not enough. Has
No,
it
not
in
enough as well.
Istanbul
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are also running the tour again next year. But I will probably not go. I think I will forego next year. And try and save my pennies for other tours that I would like to do.
The only anniversary next year is Casino Royale anyway.
Yeah, but yeah, I think check out head over to the website on the tracks of 007.com. Amazing sort of website and a book and sort of travel company as well, run by Martin Mulder. Yeah. If you're into visiting foreign locations, and would like to do it in style, it's the company for you, definitely. There's always a good group that they manage to go with as well. I'm not on commission. I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm just highly recommending. But I appreciate, it's a bit difficult right now. But yeah, Martin always attracts a good group. And you're there with other Bond fans, like-minded people. Any sort of troublemakers will be weeded out. Don't let any riffraff on this. But if I can do it, you can do it.
Anyway. We've been away for months, by the way. I was just thinking about Martin Mulder because I'm sure he went to join us once years ago and it didn't quite work out. But it just made me think. I forgot. We've been all these months off. We've actually got 2 podcasts we recorded about 14 months ago still in the can.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we had 2 guests on and they're both in the can. They're both in drive for Chris to put up whenever. Mm-hmm. Although Chris will have to listen to it now because he needs to find out what's in them.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and listen to it again.
They're sort of hidden away on YouTube as well. I've got them marked private on there because I haven't been able to release them yet.
No, I think one.
Well, I mean, I think the idea was we're still planning on carrying on with Hitchcock, and we're going to release them.
Release them at the time.
Down the line.
Okay, so yeah, we'll be pensioners by the time it's released, and you can find out what we sounded like in our 30s and 40s. Yeah. So
It'll be
yeah,
like Tupac when we die, but it'll be like sort of new material.
yeah, like 25 albums after death. Yeah. Yeah, no, it was one was in about October, one was in about February or something like that. And we recorded them around a couple of future films just because of when they were free. Now they ended up talking about a load of different things that weren't related to those films, but the idea is we still put them out. And we refer to we did the second one first, if you like, because I'm saying I may have said this in the first one because I knew I was recording with someone else. And it'll come out after the review. So one will come out after North by Northwest, and one will come out after Psycho. But who knows how old it'll be by then? Um,
Yeah, hopefully we
yeah,
can get back on that wagon.
we are recording again in the next few days, though. If our schedules mix up, though, because we are going to do a Christmas commentary this year, and it's Chris's choice.
Oh,
You've already. Please make the same choice you made the other day in chat because I bought a copy.
fair enough. Yeah, we'll stick with
If you suddenly
that.
say a Christmas story now, I'll drive up to Manchester and lamp you. That which will cost more than buying the second film. To be
Well,
fair, I've thought that through.
part of that would be annoyed, and part of that would be like, oh, not that fucking film.
No, I know that's a film only Americans like. It's not a thing here.
Yeah, it's never been. Oh, we've mentioned it before, haven't we? It's one of those films, or
Yeah,
certainly to me, anyway.
although the film we've
It's
chosen is American.
yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
yeah,
We've unfortunately we've not chosen a Christmas story this year. We'll reveal a commentary for Christmas at the end of the show. But yeah, it's always kind of struck me that in terms of a Christmas story, um,
mm.
it's always been certainly.
Yeah.
I'm
They
of the
flip.
opinion
The
it's more
shot hasn't
popular in
been
the States
flipped.
than it is here.
It is. It's him looking through the binoculars from there.
There
They
we
haven't
go.
flipped the
That's it.
shot. It's the wrong way round the party.
It's yeah, they flipped it.
Yeah, they could have just got him to put his wig on backwards.
The other way, Sean. No.
Anyway, the biggest issue for me this summer has been automatic electronic flushes in toilets
Right.
because I think they're too sensitive
Where is
sometimes
this
and
going?
massively over. Right. Well, we were talking about your summer and you went to San Francisco and Vegas. You also went to London because you met me there
I
with
did.
my
Yes,
wife,
Dave.
and we went to the theatre or Drury Lane, all of us, to see
See, cue the music.
Cue the Music. Yep,
Wasn't it great?
yep, really
But
good.
Dave, you didn't like the toilets, no?
No, the toilets were fine, but the day after we went to Stansted Airport because we had a
You went
rush
on
of blood a
holiday.
few. Well, yeah, because I booked for 3 days in London, forgetting things like my gearbox went completely in the car and stuff like that. To anyone not used to that thing, gear sticks are a thing here for most people. For most people, as I know there's some for some everywhere. But anyway,
Yeah, we drive stick over
I,
here.
so I go up there. We don't drive stick. We use a manual.
I'm joking.
Fucking drive stick.
I'm not a motorist. I'm only joking.
Yeah, fucking hell. Some women ride stick, but that's completely different. Um, so
I'm
anyway,
trying to make a
I,
joke because I don't know anything
I,
about cars, so
I get to oh, well, you know me and Chris are very knowledgeable,
I
but
know.
so
I know
I
about
get
embroidering kittens when
I
that
get
suffice.
so the day after that, hungover to fuck, to be fair. I don't really get hangover, but I had big puffy eyes and I was tired. And I go to Stansted Airport because we've decided about 3 weeks before, with no fucking money to do this, we're going to Barcelona. Because we went last year around the same time. This year, my birthday was a couple of days before in London. Last year, it was over there in Barcelona. And I loved it. It's like one of my favourite places in the world. I've sort of been, even though it's Catalan, I've sort of been learning Spanish since and stuff like that. I fell in love with that country. It's fantastic. Anyway, need to see a lot more of it though. Anyway, so we're going in and we're just about to go through all the sort of like fucking checks and everything in your bag and fucking take your belt off and all that stuff. And she says, I need the toilet. And I said, I may as well go as well. She said, do you mind taking my bag? So I said, no problem. So I threw her rucksack on my left shoulder. Now, the problem with this is, when I say her bag, I mean mine. But there's another bone of contention. Used to be mine, I suppose. So anyway, right, I go into the toilet and I think I better sit down and just make sure there's nothing major going on. So I sit down, the bag hovers right in front of the fucking sensor, and my balls get the biggest fucking wash ever. Right? It's now bear in mind, I've been on a coach for quite a while, in like warm pants. Everything down there's a bit loose. It's not like having a couple of walnuts anymore. It's like having a loose bag of olives or something, right? So I thought, oh fuck, right? So I got the bag off my shoulder and sort of got up and tidied myself up a bit because they've been severely doused. So then I do what I need to do, and I think I need the toilet paper. Now the toilet paper is on the same side. So I think I best lean forward, right? Because if I don't want to like go in front of that thing. Problem is when you lean forward, your penis hangs down further. And I turned to get the toilet paper and went again and washed my bell end. So yeah. So then I finish all that. I'm soaked down there with probably the juices of someone else's knob. And then I go to like pull my trousers up. My elbow goes back and I hear it go again, and I've never leapt up so fast. And then the kicker was I walked out and there were two guys looking at me because they'd obviously heard me whelp a couple of times and then sort of vaguely heard me leap off the toilet. And I went out the door and I thought, I'm just going to front this up. I said, sorry, my balls just got washed, and then walked straight out. So that was my summer. Got any stories like that about Vegas?
I'll ask the guys. They might have some.
So there you go.
I certainly don't.
So yeah,
Yes, yeah, Dave's been hyping
go
up this
back.
joke for a
Go.
long time, so I'm
I
glad
have been
he's finally
hyping it
told
up.
it.
No, I didn't hype it up. I told them that like something happened at Stansted Airport. I said it is a penis joke, and when they said what, I thought, well,
Come on, you got
I
to tell
can't
us.
tell them now. I can't tell them now. It's got to be fresh on the night, isn't it? It's not really a joke. It's something that happened. But yeah, it's never
So,
happened to
so,
me
so
before.
basically, you didn't quite end up with Thunderballs then.
I ended up with Thunderballs. Yeah, but it was like going through a car wash, but no one's changed the water. I've only hoped the person before me flushed. So then, of course, I'm caught in two minds, and now I've said to these blokes what's just happened. I think, well, we all stand next to each other pissing. Can I put my balls and dick in the sink and just wash them? My trousers will dry up a bit before I get on the plane. I don't know any of these people. If it had been Exeter Airport, we might have had a problem. But, like, I'm not going to see these people again. They'll just point at me on the plane or something. That'll be it. So I thought about it. And
It'll
then I
be
thought,
it'll be a random story for them to tell, like some.
yeah, and I thought if I do that, but then I thought, is that legal or not? Could I just go, look, these are unusual circumstances. I'm a bit of a hygiene freak. I've got to stand in there for 2 hours. Then I've got a 2.5 hour flight to Barcelona. After it's going to be 5 hours before I can wash these. I'm
See,
going to worry about germs.
see, this is sounding like a bit of Kirby enthusiasm already. Like,
No, it honestly happened. But of course, I'm sat on the plane just going, ugh, this is filthy. I just don't like this. And then, of course, I thought, I'll go in and buy some wet wipes, but that won't do it. I can't put hand gel on it. Knowing me, I'll buy the fucking caustic stingy stuff and my bell end alert and go red. I'll turn up in Barcelona looking like I've got a torch in my pocket or something. So, yeah, we did say we'd catch up on our holidays.
Good, I'm glad.
Barcelona itself was relatively uneventful after that. So, now, God, that does remind me of sort of Strangways going in, not Strangways. What's he called? Dent going in to see. It's a greyish set again, look. That's what they do when they got no money. He was so good at minimalist, wasn't he? Ken Adams.
Ken Adam, you mean?
Ken Adam. That's what I said.
Yeah, you said Ken Adams, you said. Get it
it's
right,
just sort
get
of,
it right.
I just took it all the way there to just, yeah, she's dead. That's what happens when you smother her with a pillow.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shock though, isn't it? You just think, oh. But I think that's kind of it's a bit of sort of plot contrivance. That's kind of that's like Bond's motivation, kind of what he needs. You know, he kind of it's quite shocking, but
they've missed the close up on Sean's face to have that. It's personal now.
It's personal. I mean, like
Yeah,
we had that
no,
with
it would have
in
been.
Goldfinger.
He's more mature now. Last year, it would have been personal, but M told him this isn't personal.
This is personal.
This isn't a personal.
It's not a personal.
Although he
He's like,
might have been a
screw
bit
that.
more lucid than that. I made him sound like fucking drunk then.
Hello, did you know this is a personal vendetta 007?
The Historic Country Club.
Yeah, when they're stood in what looks like maybe it could have been a country club. Imagine that
Like
now as an
apparently, if you
action
go to like
sequence.
Palmyra now, like it's a bit derelict. I don't know if it's still owned privately.
What here?
Um,
Well, there's a
it's a bit
building
run
site.
down.
Well, the same place was used for the parkour sequence in that appears in this film. There's a
Yeah,
structure that appears in this film that's the
in Casino
parkour
Royale.
sequence. Yeah,
But I think the actual kind of because they
it's
filmed
flipped the
like
shot again.
the house where they filmed it. I think it's a bit run down now, from
Couldn't
what
they
I
have
gather.
got Sean? Couldn't they have got Sean? Yes, I've heard that. It just never got built properly.
New.
But well, I don't know why they didn't think of this and get Sean to have a wig with a centre parting or swept back. I'd never noticed it was flipped a second time. See, you think they'd have stopped fighting for a second and gone, look, this thing's coming across. Let's just climb out. We'll have a fight afterwards. This sort of thing. What I don't know if they had then was the modern concept of the tank. You know, when they
The
film,
Shark Tank.
yeah, you know, when they have the tank for filming sea scenes in.
Yep.
I mean, this might well be in a pool, but I don't know. Actually, they did have a tank for Batman 66, so probably. The stuff at the end where they're fighting in what looks like is the sky, but it's like a big blanket painted to look like the sky, big sheet. So well, we got about 40 minutes left or so. Yeah, okay. That rebreathe though, we see that again in Die Another Day because that film was so up its own history. Uh, Again, apparently during these films, people like
Not,
Khrushchev
not,
would say to his people, "Can you do that?" And this is one you probably couldn't do, apparently. Sorry, Chris.
I was just say that wasn't a glass Sean was pressed up against.
Yeah,
No, I think yeah, there's some scenes where it's obviously like it's a glass screen, isn't it, or something.
yeah. Mind you, one of the most famous ones was Raiders, and they had to do it digitally
Hmm.
on the Blu-ray, didn't they?
Hmm.
So it now doesn't have that venom, but their Cobra spits venom at him, and it hits the screen in front of him. Just as well it was there, really.
I might be a bit ahead on the Blu-ray, but just in the scene,
He's just going back
he's
into
just
a
gone to the
hotel
hotel
room
room.
now.
He's like, oh, and by the
Yeah,
way,
no, he's
and
just
tell them
shut the
Paul is
door.
dead, and he's like, oh, okay, and like the El Cameron character doesn't approach it. He's like, okay, no time to react. It's like, oh,
Oh, this is where she's in the bath.
yeah, give you something to wear, and it's a pair of shoes, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, but the line is great. But she's in his hotel room in his bath,
Yeah.
naked, and we're supposed to think it's misogynistic that he might see her tits. It's like, well,
Well, to be fair, she asked, give me something to put on, and it's
use the
fantastic.
towel on your head. You can cover some of the major bits. Would have been quite fun if she'd got out, if the censors of the time would allow it, she just got out as she is and just stick the shoes on.
That's the other way. But then Bond will be able to look at her in the mirror. And pardon me, I do apologise.
Yeah, there you go, the towel. Um, at the time of recording, she's still alive and well, though. She had to pollute. So she's really,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
she
She was
gave
at
she gave quite a lot of
Thunderball
interviews
anniversary
later on.
meetup recently.
Mm.
She's got real presence.
She's brilliant. And she doesn't come off. I do like her performance in that film, but Fatima Blush, the Barbara Carrera character, she's utterly unhinged. She's
mm.
not. She's just like surprisingly menacing, you know. As
But
Alan Partridge would say, "You are sexy, but I don't trust you."
well, she's just like I think that's what it is. She's the more like straight laced, like
Mm.
ruthless,
Yeah,
competent as well. She's like
Yeah,
I know.
she gets shit done.
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's just that matter of taste. Do you like your villains to be over the top or
There are degrees of it, though.
mm,
There are degrees of it, and Fatima Blush plays. The only thing that hurts Fatima Blush's character is the fact that the amount of rewrites. So half the time you don't really know what she's trying to achieve, and there's wild changes in what she's trying to do. And I mean, that looks like stock footage actually, but
It might be.
it reminded me of the way you see them out and stuff like that. Reminds me of Moonraker in Rio. What do single women do? Would you zip me up, please? Do single women just go out with their backs on full display? Or
You
do you
develop
just dislocate,
skills to do it
or do you
yourself.
just dislocate your wrist every time you go out?
If you're hyper mobile like me, you're like, I can just do this. Zip. Yeah, back in the day, when you didn't have a man to zip you up.
These guys never look like they've got much job satisfaction, do they? They
No,
never
they look a
come in
bit bored.
smiling. No, they come in looking like a bit menacing. And it's like, well, he's got a gun on him. There's two of you. You don't need to prove anything. You might as well come in and say good morning or afternoon or whatever.
They're just rude.
What I did this evening was for King and Country. The bit where I shouted with Geronimo was for me.
Geronimo!
Oh, come, Mr. Bond. You have much pleasure on sex as I do. No,
That would only mean something if he genuinely went with a really, really ugly woman. Objectively, like, fucking, you would never cast this woman as a leading lady at all.
Oh.
And maybe she looked, maybe everyone around us commented on how terrible her body hair is, her body odor is.
If it was basically Uma Bunt, like
yeah, like
That's a bit harsh.
if it's for
Where's
King
a
and
club?
Country, give her one.
fancy seeing you here, Fraulein.
Yeah, if it actually was Uma Bunt.
But yeah, your comment about the henchmen. I mean, yeah, that probably would be a bit more interesting if they were like, just awfully sorry.
If it was like really
Bit more
eight of a
chatty.
henchman.
Yeah,
Well,
just like
when
really
there's a gun
affable,
on
and
someone,
polite, and friendly. Go like, oh,
yeah.
hello.
Oh, hello.
There's
How are
three
you?
of them in total. One
Lovely
of them's
day we're
got a gun
having.
on Bond. There's two of you, males, behind him where he can't really see what you're going to do. Looking menacing is totally redundant. Don't need to do it at all.
It's like awfully sorry, but you're gonna have to come with us, or we're gonna kill you. I know that's unfortunate, but this is where we are.
Must be terribly British and apologetic whilst you do it.
Oh yes, he's shot in the leg there.
You could actually be more unnerving. He's like, fucking hell, who are these people? Like,
why are they so cheery? What do they know that I don't know for a
yeah.
start that they're quite happy about? What, am I going to be tortured in an amusing way? Yeah, the blood trail. He gets over this quite quickly, to be fair, but then I suppose it could have been a glancing blow, couldn't it?
Do you mean
Could
the
have been a
red paint
scratch.
trail?
Yeah.
Well, that's clearly paint, but I get what it's the difference between shooting into a muscle and grazing the outside of the skin. That's all
Yeah,
I'm
No, that's
saying,
it.
because he's fine for the rest
That
of
would
the
blow
film.
your foot off, really, wouldn't it? If it was
Yeah.
direct.
Also, in HD, you notice a dog weeing in the street during the junk canoe. Just thought I'd point that out. The dogs are Bond.
Did he have to audition? Did he have to have like a? Did he
Yes,
have
as
to
long as
have
you could do it in a
did he
straight
have
line, you're
He had
hired.
to have a piss for cubby broccoli.
It was probably the producer's doggo, or it might not have been a street doggo, perhaps. Anyway, the dogs are Bond. There's one of them in here.
I don't know what the celebration is here because there's like they're wearing dice on their head
Junk
and things
canoe.
like that. Is that what it is? I don't know what it is. I don't know anything about the Bahamas. I know roughly where it is, but I mean I don't know much about its culture and celebrations. I mean,
So again, according to Wikipedia, festival that originated in a period of slavery or practice most notably in Bahamas, Jamaica, and Belize, and historically North Carolina and Miami, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's have a little look. Junk canoe is observed mainly around the week of Christmas.
okay.
So it dates back to the 1700s. So yeah, celebrated sort of Christmas, New Year, that sort of thing. And apparently it is actually a thing.
Awesome.
There are also junk canoe, according to Wikipedia, there are also junk canoe parades in Miami in June and Key West in October, where local black populations have their roots in the
They're just sort of
Caribbean.
fairly general celebrate. Oh, it's a Caribbean celebration, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, celebrated sort of Christmas, New Year, that sort of thing. So is Thunderball a
In
Christmas
June.
film?
Cool. Yeah,
Oh.
obviously.
Our
I'm
Christmas
convinced.
commentary, then. There you are.
There we go.
Oh, that saved us a night, an evening.
Well, I think does Christmas depend upon obviously Majesties is the obvious answer, but any other sort of Christmas references in Bond, um, specifically
I, if
Christmas
you're asking
Jones.
me something
Christmas.
now,
Well,
I
obviously
can't.
Christmas Jones, obviously, but
Christmas Jones, Christmas, yeah.
the holiday of Christmas
I don't know.
in December, 5 days from it, as we are here right
I
now.
don't know.
I was just gonna think, have we had any apart from On Her Majesty's? Have we ever like any other scenes where Bond's like been hunted down? Like,
Moonraker? Isn't
uh,
Jill's trying to get to him? In a
Maybe
crowd,
a
in a
View to a
real
Kill, where
car.
he's kind of in a
There was the Rio
steeplechase.
Carnival. There was the Rio Carnival, wasn't there? But if you're talking about him lost in a crowd with someone trying to find him and
Oh
get to
yeah,
him,
probably Moonraker, the Rio. Yeah,
Moonraker's the
Rio.
one that springs to mind.
it was. Am I misremembering? Isn't that more the girl though? But that
Yeah,
Jaws
he's
is broaching.
probably stalking the girl, isn't Manuela?
Yeah, yeah.
Manuela of Station H. Pardon me,
What do you do
or
Rio
VH
when you
even.
don't tango?
Yeah,
Yeah.
would you dance?
You undress them without consent,
Excuse me,
apparently.
madam.
Sorry, that wasn't a reference to what I think you should do. That was a Moonraker reference because he's undressing her before she's shown any interest in him whatsoever.
What do you do in Rio if you don't samba?
What was it? What was it? 7 hours or something. What do you do in Rio for seven
Yeah,
hours? I
Rio if you
make
don't
love.
samba.
I make love 420 times.
When you're Roger Moore, well, this is it. You strap yourself in and feel the G's. Now we've got it on mute because obviously we're doing this commentary. But
Yeah,
check out the guy on that bongos, giving it.
I'm sure. Yeah, it's funny when they did Never Say Never Again. They said Sean was not a dancer. He had to work very, very hard on it. He wasn't a natural dancer, and you can see that here. He's got no confidence or anything. He's just doing this like up and
Didn't
down
see him on
movement.
Strictly.
No, well, not now. Unless someone wants to dance around with an urn. Um, I love the fact he knows the trajectory of this bullet so well that he manages to like get it between his fingers, doesn't he?
It's very stylish.
And the shot is flipped here as well.
Times it just well.
I'd not noticed it was so often. There you go, look.
Yeah, there's a few times in this film where it does get flipped over.
Mm,
She's just dead, and she's actually dead.
mm. What it'll be a number of and they'll be the wrong way round in certain shots, and it will have been not reshoots, but it would have been just you need to flip that shot or it doesn't match.
I wonder if the henchmen like admitted to what happened. Like go
Oh, that's true.
Well, go back and go. Well, we shot her.
Well, we shot her, we missed him, but
I mean, to be fair, he's 6'2" and she's 5'4", and he's a lot broader. But how'd you miss her?
in a bright blue dress.
Hmm.
yeah, sorry that you one of your main
She,
competent
well,
hench
what
people are
happened
dead.
is, right, I dropped my gun, or I was about to reload, and I dropped the bullet, and she tripped and fell backwards onto it.
She fell onto the bullet.
Yeah,
Well,
dear.
we had him, and then she just dropped dead for some reason. Don't know.
yeah.
We nearly
And
had him,
then,
but
and then I think he might have had like sharp fingernails because she started bleeding right after.
I think we can probably assume
They're,
that.
they're hazard, aren't they? Them fingernails.
Yeah.
Also, how did no one hear the gunshot? Like, seriously.
I think because the guy was obviously banging so hard on those bongos, he was really giving it some welly on the bongos.
So you can shoot people at a party, Chris, as long as there's bongo
As long
playing.
as the bongos going.
Matthew McConaughey, he'd fit right in. There's a story, yeah.
Matthew McBongo, hey, no.
I have a feeling that used to be a flip shot as well, and they've actually corrected that one. I might be wrong on that though, because it could have been the early one I mentioned. The Golden Grotto.
Golden
Doesn't
Grotto
that sound like a
Sharks.
really shit casino?
They're going quick. Pardon me.
Set her down, I think we found it. So we're finally sort of getting towards the final act of the film. I think the problem with this film is, like I say, half of its appeal was the innovative nature and the beautiful cinematography of the time. Well, that's still beautiful, but it's a bit old hat now. We've seen it, and it just followed as good an opening three entries to a series you could ever hope to see, really. But I mean, it was hugely successful. But
Hmm.
I think some of that's a reflection of Goldfinger, and some of the fact that this wasn't as popular as the next one didn't do quite as well. But yeah, this is the
Yeah, that's
absolute
always the
height of it.
marker. That's always the marker. Just because like the film in the series does really well doesn't mean to
Mm.
say that it's one of the best.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I can think of quite a few examples where, the third one, the second one dips and maybe the third one goes up a little bit. And yeah, I mean, the highest grossing of the Lord of the Rings films by quite a margin was the third one. And I don't think you could argue that's the best one, but it is obviously cathartic because you get the whole closure on everything. And there's a few like that. There's a few like that. I mean, if you look at the highest grossing Marvel films, well, yeah, okay. The Avengers ones would be up there, but there's one or two others that you go. I mean, Iron Man 3 grossed incredibly well at the time, but it was just after, I think it was the first one after Avengers. So
Mm.
I don't think they're wholly dependent on the previous one. I think some of it can be a mixture of both, but yeah, it does happen. All these sequences are a bit long, but as I say, you've got the technology to film it. He's done well to hold his breath for an hour and 40 minutes, that actor, because we saw when he went down there. He's kept his eyes open as well. I bet his vision will be
Done very
awful.
well,
Mm,
considering it's very boring.
It's
No,
commitment.
yes,
There
that is
can't
commitment.
there can't be many of them still alive from this film now.
Well, they're still down there, so I doubt
Oh, that's it. They all drowned,
it.
but it was worth it. They made some money. The estate. Mm. It's funny. I don't ever want Bond to just be a tick list. But it's always weird now when, I mean, Sean never skied, but most of them did, and most of them went sort of diving. It's just
Mm.
weird when they don't do either of them. Daniel did neither.
Yeah, I was a bit gutted really. I kind of thought because obviously when Spectre came along, um, we
Well,
had
he
that really great
refused.
big sort of this
The snow sequence,
yeah,
yeah.
the snow sequence. Yeah, that was teased quite heavily. Um, and it was
But
just a
all
bit
the
of a
shots were
disappointment.
in with the gun outside. I think he refused. Now, I don't know if he refused because he thought it would look shit and he'd have to be doubled and all that, or whether he refused because his knee was a mess.
Probably for health and safety reasons, which is
Yeah.
totally understandable.
Mm. Because I know of all the films, it's obvious when you hear his quotes afterwards, but if you put everything in context, Spectre was a miserable shoot for him because he was basically walking
There's so
around
many
on a
injuries,
broken
didn't he,
leg.
in
Yeah,
that
he
one?
was walking
It is
around
a
on more or less a broken. Yeah,
particularly
his
challenging
knee
shoot
was
for
fucked,
him.
and he just like got basically pilled up and strapped up and got on with it. Whereas when he got injured before No Time to Die, they actually closed it down for a few weeks and let him recover. So I think reading between the lines, because they've all got to say the right things. I know he famously didn't a couple of times, but I think you will find videos at the time with him saying how much he enjoyed making it and that long before the slip my wrist comment. And I think that's just untrue. He was just desperately injured during that film, so every step he took was painful. I like,
And
I like
also the promotional tour doesn't help as well, where it's just like long days of like answering the same questions and
same questions, and you know what it's like now. There's nothing free form. It's all 10 minutes here and 7 minutes there. I like the fact has gone undercover as an Italian tablecloth there. Um, yeah, it is miserable, but it is the job. So I'm not defending what he said, but I just think sometimes he gives blunt answers. I just think there's a feeling out there he didn't like playing Bond, and I just don't think that's true. You have to take everything he says in the round,
uh,
and
I mean
I think
I do question it to his actually somewhat where he's like what he really wanted to do was kill the character off. I'm like,
I don't get that because I mean I'm hearing now Amazon are having difficulty deciding what to do because he was killed off in the last one. I thought, fuck me, you're crap at this, aren't you, Amazon already? It's just a clean reboot. I want it killed off so they can make a fresh start. They made a fresh start 5 times before you, so I
Yeah,
don't
every
get
single
it.
time they want to make a fresh start, and it's like, well,
Well, they do it anyway.
yeah, exactly.
it's not complicated. Either you do it like from scratch, which
It'll
was,
all be new people.
but or you just sort of like you just start as you mean to go and just he's already established. Just
Yeah,
carry on as if
yeah.
as if you
And it's
are,
likely to be all different people. The only one I could even imagine them keeping might be Q. But he may not want to, and Amazon may not want him because they want to start everything fresh. And the idea of Q in the new film is very different anyway, isn't he? Not the new film, the new video game. The way they've animated. I don't know how
Yeah,
much
they've
you've
gone for
seen of the new game.
sort of older character. Um,
Anyone listening to this down the line, when this is well outdated, we're talking about 007 First Light, which releases about 3 months after we record this.
yeah, it comes out in
So,
March.
yeah, so we've seen the trailer, the 30. I've seen the 35-minute sort of gameplay preview,
Yeah, it
and
looks amazing.
I've seen all the character bios. Um, and their conception of Q is still slightly. He looks almost a bit mad scientist, but not mad, if you know what I mean. He looks just a considered older scientist.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he doesn't
Um,
look like a mad scientist. He's not like
no, but
um
he's decidedly
Doc Brown.
middle-aged. Q is of sort of Indian subcontinent extraction, British, but I'm just saying. But whoever's playing her looks really good. Adrian, Adrian Lester, Adrian Lester. It's not Adrian Lester. It's Lenny James. Lenny James is in it as a Tanner type figure, but he's not playing Tanner. Um, yeah, and just start it again. No one's going, how can we make this video game? Daniel Craig was playing him in the last video game and he's dead now. It's like it doesn't work. Just start again. You either do a mission or you just do, I don't know, maybe you just do. You can't do it because of the format of Bond films, but you could even either what they did in Watchmen or the opening of the 2008 Incredible Hulk, where you just get a quick backstory and that's it. I don't see it as difficult as they're making it. That said, it's rumor. No one's been directly
yeah.
quoted. It's just rumor. I can't imagine they'll find it that difficult. Just start again.
I
The
mean, couldn't
debates will
change it
be
anyway.
the debates will be how much to go tradition, how much to go modern, how much to go retro, all that sort of thing. Those will be the debates. Good hiding there, Sean. No one would have seen you there. Oh, look at that. That's like a really bad cover system in a video game where your body's still showing, but they can't shoot you because you're in cover. I wonder how hard he did work out for this or whether he was just naturally fit. Because it wasn't the era of bodybuilding in the same way, although he did take part in those sorts of
Yeah, Sean
competitions.
was kind of Mr. Universe, Mr. World, something like that, wasn't he?
He was he
He
was
was involved.
third. He was third in it or something. But
But
when you
he was
see
still quite
photos of the
buff.
time, very muscular and a bit shredded, but like not big. And of
Not like Arnold
course,
Schwarzenegger level.
yeah. But I'm not even talking about. I don't think it was just the fact that there's no, they weren't taking steroids or whatever back there. I think it is just that methods and nutrition changed. It was much more about being quite lean and ripped than about sort of size and veins and all that shit.
Ugh.
I don't know if he has to work out to maintain this shape is all I mean.
But he
Because
is quite buff anyway.
he's not in this condition in the next film. There's Felix earning the Rick Van Nutter earning his salary again. He's a bit John
Wearing
Terry in that regard.
quite a dapper t-shirt.
Well, go and see it on the big screen. Confirm if it's got kiwi fruits on it or something.
No,
All right.
it hasn't. It's not as jazzy
Yeah.
Q's pineapple shirt.
All right. Fair
Mm.
enough.
Yeah, I kind of feel like yeah, John Terry is a bit unfair. I mean, we didn't really kind of see him like for me. Unfortunately, he does rank as like the
John
worst.
Terry had no chance, did he? Though, if
No,
you could take Felix out of that film and you wouldn't notice.
he's the most bland Felix. I'm
A
sorry,
little bit,
no offense
a
to John
little bit
Terry,
of
but he's the
connecting
most bland
dialogue.
Felix.
You can cut his scene out. You do not need that scene. Just a bit of connecting dialogue or an order or a phone call gets you around it.
Not bad at football though.
No, not that
No,
John Terry, but
I would have loved it if he'd been in a full Chelsea kit.
that'd be amazing.
Again, for anyone not getting the reference, John Terry was captain of Chelsea Football Club for a number of years. And one year they won the Champions League, which I know you've just had the Club World Cup in America, but believe me, it's not as prestigious yet. It might be in time. The biggest thing for a European club to win is the Champions League, the European Cup. And one year Chelsea won it, but Terry was either injured or suspended. I forget which. Now, we've had this before where a team's had a suspended player who might be the captain, and he'll go out in a suit for the ceremony. John Terry put a full kit on, including like shin pads and football boots to go out and lift the trophy. Bit of a knob end.
Yeah, that feels very Chelsea, doesn't it?
It feels very John Terry. But I mean, at one point, when he was earning tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands a week, he was sort of selling private tours of Stamford Bridge. He's a right dodgy twat. Or he was. Let's say that. I don't know about, I don't know what sort of man he's matured into as, approaching 50 or whatever he is now. He was a good player though.
I thought it'd be a bit
But
older
he,
than that, but never mind.
but, well, no, he's about 45 actually. But he was crap in the Living Daylights though. He forgot his Chelsea kit for a start.
Yes, he did.
I saw John Terry in something years later and I can't remember what it was. I need to look him up. I saw him in some. Oh, I tell you what it was. I think I may be wrong because I'm not going to look it up. I'm just going to test my memory. You can look it up if you want. I think he was one of. There were two women in the second season of 24. One was getting married to like an Asian guy. And there was, back in the time where we really racially stereotyped. And the other one was a sort of almost a bit of a love interest for Jack. And their father, I think, was played by John Terry. I'm just going to look that up to see if I'm making anything
Is this
sensible.
season two?
Season 2 of 24. I might be completely wrong. He was definitely somebody's father in something I've seen. That's what it is. But I saw him like very distinguished with grayer hair, still in reasonable shape. Um, I'm just looking him up now. But he still looks well now. He's got a passing resemblance to that guy from is it NCIS or he was killed when he was a love interest for CJ in The West Wing. Mark something. He looks
Oh,
like
that
him anyway.
guy.
Yeah, he's got a passing resemblance to him as he's got older.
Yeah,
Mm.
he's in season two, so I think you're right.
I am. Now I've got to think who the I'm talking about. No, for the guy he looks like. And I got a feeling it's a show I've never seen, NCIS. I remember him from The West Wing, but NCIS. No, that's not it.
Yeah, because that's the one where that daughter's marrying an Asian guy, and they think
They think he might be a terrorist, and it turns
but
out it's
it's
her. She
actually her.
kills
Yeah,
him. Yeah, that's right. So, cast of Mark Harmon. He's got a
Mark
passing
Harmon, that's the
resemblance
one.
as he's got older to Mark Harmon, who's married to Mindy from Mork and Mindy.
No,
Yeah.
I never knew that. That's amazing.
Get more from your Thunderball commentaries.
Yes. Fun fact, folks.
Well, they're underwater doing stuff slowly again, so we've got to find shit to talk about.
But it looks beautiful.
Oh, but lovely, yeah.
I mean,
But
to be fair, I have, this was never one of my favorites, but I have warmed to it more over the years.
It's when we reviewed it, we were kind to it because I think what we did, for all the pissing about we did, although there was less of it back then, I think, for all the pissing around we do and all the jokes, we do actually consider a film as fairly as we can. And we did say it's got a languid pace, but this is the reason, and it's the slow underwater stuff. You know what I mean? And we did
Sure.
say
Mm.
the speeding up is vastly overdone. They were using it all the way through the series up to about the Living Daylights. You can see it in the pre-title of the Living Daylights, and I don't ever remember seeing it afterwards. Although it's a bit more subtly done then. It's quite bad at the start of Majesties, but you don't see a lot of it then, and it's quick cutting, so it's kind of lessens its impact. But when they're wrestling this boat at the end of the film and that, it looks quite comical. But we were fair to it because it's a well-made Bond film with an engaged Sean Connery, a decent plot idea. It's just purely that a lot of the things that made you go wow in 1965 now work to the film's detriment. You
It's
would
one of those things, isn't it? I
never,
think because
you would,
technology and scope
yeah.
and cinema and that sort of thing have really kind of moved on. Um,
Well, you wouldn't spend so long underwater if you were making this now. But
no,
they
I
were
don't know what the equivalent would be. Probably something like a Christopher Nolan film where you're doing something like on the size and scope and scale.
yeah.
Um, Maybe in space, as we would see in Star Wars or
Well,
Movie
I don't know.
Maker.
I don't know if he's got. I need to look it up actually. I don't know if might be too early. I'm wondering if he's done his final cut of the Odyssey next year for
Ooh,
next year because that ought to be a very long film because the book it's an epic poem, but that was
it's
a
going to be
big
10 hours
Well,
long.
Oppenheimer was free, wasn't it? So,
sorry.
like, Oppenheimer was 3 hours long.
Oppenheimer was
Yeah,
something like that,
that's on
3:15, three and a
that's
half.
on TV over Christmas.
It's on Netflix as well at the moment. I loved it. I've never watched it again because it's long, but I
It
did
is a
really,
long
really
film.
like
You got
it.
to set aside.
But no, no, the
Let's have
Odyssey's
a
out
look.
next summer, but they haven't. They're nowhere near final cut now by the look of it.
Trying to think what other
Um,
films were released 1965. Highest grossing films.
uh,
Obviously, Sound of Music, Doctor Zhivago. I guess Men in the Flying Machines, A Great Race, That
well,
Darn
Doctor
Cat,
Zhivago's really long.
Cat. Obviously, films about cats. That
Hmm.
Darn Cat, Cat Baloo, What's New Pussycat, Shenandoah and Von Ryan's
Doctor
Express.
Zhivago is David Lean, and
Yes.
I must admit I don't think I've ever seen the whole thing, and
What?
I've always wanted to, and I think I even had a
What?
copy at one point and
I'll
didn't
send you
get
the
round to
DVD,
it.
Dave.
Yeah, I know I'll find it somewhere, but it's getting round to it. But no, it's a very long film.
Yeah, it's a
That
long
doesn't
ass
bother me.
movie.
So the re-release is 7 minutes longer than the original one. It's 200 minutes, so
Oh
320.
Christ.
So it's about the same length as The Godfather 2, that is. So no problem with that. I watched Lawrence of Arabia
No.
without complaint.
Well, I think was it one Christmas, a couple New Year's. I think Fiddler on the Roof was on the BBC
Yeah, yeah,
in its entirety. And also
yeah,
I'd seen the show many times.
yeah.
I'd never actually seen the film. I thought, right, I'm going to sit down and watch this. And like 3+ hours later, but it's really good. Um, but yeah, it's long. You just think, oh.
Norman Jewison as well. What a
No, it's
filmmaker he
epic,
was.
and there's quite a few like Bond connections as well.
Well, Top
Brilliantly
was
made,
the
classic
obvious one.
musical, iconic performance, but it's
Mm.
a long ass movie.
Norman Jewison made In the Heat of the Night, didn't he? Yes, he did.
I think
I'm
so.
just checking
Yes,
that. And the original Thomas Crown Affair.
underrated director, I think.
A fantastic filmmaker. But that is 181 minutes.
Long
So,
ass movie.
to be fair, I'm off to see Avatar: Ash and Fire and Ash tomorrow, so
Oh God,
that's
are
even
you?
longer.
Let us know what it's
Yeah,
like.
yeah, we'll do. Well, I know what the films are, so I don't think I'll be fucking shocked.
No,
Has,
but yeah, let us know your review.
has any of you rewatched the second one or
No, I
Yeah,
Avatar?
haven't.
yeah, this afternoon.
How
Although
did you?
I forwarded through a few bits just mainly for time. That's
Oh, did
all.
you?
But I just wanted a bit of a refresher for tomorrow because apparently that one picks up in the same place or right after. I mean, she's the clan they go to join. The Kate Winslet character's like pregnant, and she has the baby in this film, so that tells you the time frame.
And how did you find it?
How did I find it? I accept it for all its flaws, to be honest with you. Avatar's always been a strange film to me in that when I watched it, I remember turning to the person I was with and going, "Crap, that was crap." Every bit of shit dialogue, every sort of wooden Sam Worthington line. I'm talking about the original now. And I was just like, I can't believe I've just wasted so much time on such a basic story with such shit dialogue. And then, you see the bad guy and he's heavily muscled with like scars on his face. And I just think, of course he is. It's just such a bunch of cliches, this film. And then I rewatched it a few months later. Didn't think much better of it. I can't remember if I saw it again in 3D. I think I may one day have tried the three they tried to make 3D DVD of thing or
Mm,
3D Blu-ray. And I think I bought it because I had a 3D TV, largely because that's what they were selling at the time. And I thought, well, I may as well give it a look. And just over time, I started warming to it, but not in any way that changes my original opinion.
yeah,
It's just how I don't think it's any better, but I like it more. And I do think this speaks to the thing that I've always said about 3D. It's about immersion, not wow factor. And I think I quite like hanging out in that world. Now, I'm not under the illusion I'm literally in it, but you understand what I mean.
yeah,
And I didn't feel it so much with the first film, probably because they were up in the sky so often. You need a sort of horizontal dimension for it to work. The Life of Pi worked very well in 3D because of the water dimension on it. Those sorts of shots work very well. That's why space ones never look as good as you think they're going to. And yeah, so anyway, I started to sort of quite like it despite not thinking it was particularly good. And then I went to see the second one, and again, it's too long. The dialogue is all cousin, bro, and fucking bollocks like that, although it sounds better coming out of teenagers than it does fucking Jake Sully. Um, But I liked it. I just liked the design. I liked the feel. I think it was too fucking long, but I just enjoyed being because I don't see 3D films that often. I don't see
mm.
much of a case for films to be in 3D, to be honest.
You don't see much of it these days, anyway, do you?
No, and
No.
most of the time they're just shit conversions anyway. I remember seeing Iron Man 3, I think it was.
Mm,
And there's what is that the one where it turns out he's not in the suit, but he has to link up a load of
yeah.
people in the sky. That was one sequence in the entire film I even noticed it was 3D. But Avatar, he goes really deep with it. And of course, in the last one, he put the variable frame rate in. Now, that has a couple of drawbacks because if you use it on the action scene, I thought it would end up looking like the fucking Hobbit did, like a set. Now, I know it's in a computer, but I thought
Mm,
it would look so hyper real as to be fake. It actually looked brilliant, but the problem was you'd have one shot in the 48 frames, and then it would cut to another one in 24, and it takes you a split second for your eyes to adjust. They both work though. Mm. And it's just like the design, the care to it, and I quite liked, they were all a bit green in the last one, and I
mm.
quite liked the visuals of that, and I liked all the stuff underwater. Are they good films? Not particularly. Do they represent of the best of what James Cameron can do as a writer and director? Certainly as an editor, because I know he gets involved in all that. No, because they've got Baggy. No one says no to him because he makes so much money, and he's got a tin ear for dialogue. He's not much better than George Lucas with dialogue. But once you know all that, because I used to go in and go, this film is shit because, and then I'd point these things out like I was being smart.
Mm.
Well, these things are visible to everyone. It's just how much do you care and how much do you accept the flaws of the filmmaker making it. We joked about it. I don't think it was related to James Cameron, but Kyle Reese, Jake Sully, they sound like meatheads, right? And so I joked about Chuck Steak. He's very one dimensional. He's actually better writing women than he is men, but sometimes that goes over the line, and he's just basically presenting women as men.
Mm.
Not most of the time, but I'm sorry, when Sarah Connor's on like the Mexican border carving no fate in with a fag in her mouth and aviator glasses on, that may as well be a fucking man. Don't tell me he's writing women well. He's not. He's writing her as a man. He wrote her as a woman in the first film. But yeah, a long way round to saying I don't think the films are any better than I've ever thought they were. I just like them more now.
Yeah.
But I watched
I,
it today in 2D. It's one of the only films, and I didn't think this about the first one. It's one of the only films where 3D is key to maybe your first experience with it. If you then get immersed in it and have a feel for the world and like being in it, you might then enjoy it at home. But I'd never watch the films first in 2D because immersion's half the point with Pandora. Because if you're not getting that, what are you getting? You're getting
mm.
a subpar Dances with Wolves or Fern Gully or even Dune. You're getting a subpar version of all of those. You need the visuals and you need the immersion.
Yeah, I think that's probably the main selling point.
Yeah.
Because I've kind of half watched the second one we watched that, and
Did you see it 3D IMAX to start with?
yeah, sort of in the
Right.
IMAX,
Okay.
yeah.
Right.
Um,
That's what I'll be doing tomorrow.
but yeah, it's just a bit. I don't know. I've only watched the first half, but I just found it a bit, you know, a bit plodding, a bit too like I'm not finding much reason to care, if that makes sense.
No. And it does make
Um,
me laugh when his kids call him sir. I'd never heard that until I first watched like an American film with like a military figure as a father. And I
mm,
find it hilarious. There's not a fucking boy in Britain who isn't being fucking abused or something who's calling their father sir. Don't be fucking stupid. Some of the dialogue was shit, but like I say, but because it was coming out of teenagers' mouths, A, it sort of sounds more appropriate, but even if it's not, I'm in my 40s, so I don't know any different. And James Cameron was in his 60s when he wrote it, so he probably thinks that's how kids talk or whatever.
mm.
And maybe they do. What do I fucking know? And I don't really care. Um, Becca, what do you think of the Avatar films? We will cover them properly one day, but we got to get back to this in a minute because we're getting to the third act. But
Well,
what did you make of them?
just seen people swimming around getting shot by harpoons.
That's the problem with commentating on this because
Or
it's very
or
slow action.
I've not mentioned the amount of times that people like cut the oxygen tubing.
Yeah.
Yeah, one guy just now on my Blu-ray actually got a spear in the ear, which must have been
Mm,
very painful.
What
Um,
made me laugh earlier in the film, just quickly, Becca, sorry, we was
no,
talking
you
about
carry
cutting the
on.
pipe. No, just talking about cutting the pipe. But I didn't notice it at the time. Bond cut his pipe and he died instantly. It's like, well, just hold your breath for a minute.
Asphyxiation.
Anyway,
Maybe he didn't hold his breath for very long.
right, sorry, Avatar, Becca,
And
just
I haven't
quickly.
even got the rebreather, which didn't really work, which only worked for as long as you could hold your breath for. But that's probably testament to the Bond prop designers that they can create a gadget and then the Navy will get in touch and say, we are interested in buying your rebreather.
Yeah.
And for them to go, actually, no,
Sorry, no, sorry, we just stuck a harmonica in our
sorry,
mouths.
you can't. This is top
Yeah.
secret from Q Branch.
But
Um,
Khrushchev famously did do that. He did say to his people, they'd look at the Bond film and he'd go, "Can we make that?"
well, yeah, it's a lot of it did sort of come, it kind of sort of snake eating his own tail, really, wasn't it? A lot of it kind of fed into sort of spycraft at the time, and obviously Bond came from obviously Fleming's own experience.
Yeah,
Sort of Bletchley Park, SOE, that sort of obviously not related to Fleming, but it's all that kind of sort of spycraft, sort of espionage, kind of like sort of feeding into itself, really. So yeah, I can see why there was a lot of influence
yeah,
by and from the Bond films and other kind of spy
yeah,
movies, especially the
yeah.
sort of 50s and 60s Cold War sort of era as well. So I'm not surprised, really, not surprised.
But also,
Um,
again, if I thought about it, I could work it out. But off the top of my head, I can't remember when Khrushchev left office. But he was certainly in like, I mean, the briefcase. It's not like he's gone. Can you make me that invisible car? You know what I mean?
but
We are
it's
talking
something
about
that
the
is
early
possible,
days where
isn't it, as well?
they were earlier, more grounded things. And if you were, you would go, "Well, is a rebreather like that possible?" Now, not obviously, if you've got an oxygen tank on your back, that's not going to match that.
No,
But
it probably could
maybe,
be though. Like a
but
version of it
maybe,
could really be.
but there is a world where in his head he might think, "Well, that might give you an emergency 5 minutes or something."
Yeah, I mean these things were drawn from real life. You can have
Yeah,
there were sort of lady lipsticks that doubled as that had a device in them that was small enough to be like a microphone.
yeah.
Or they might have a
Yeah, it'd be
spear
that
on the other
sort of
side, that
thing,
sort
like
of
on
thing.
Majesty's. They had that in their packs, didn't they, and stuff
Yeah,
like that. So
and if you do so like if you're in London, you can do sort of the spy games, the spyscape. So part of it is kind of like
yeah,
where it's kind of like
yeah. It's not like
a series of rooms that you go into and you can do sort of certain games, certain tasks, that sort of thing, which are really good
yeah,
fun, especially if you're in a big group as well. And then the rest of the venue, it's in the old what was the Bond in Motion. Um, and so yeah, I don't know how long it's going to be there for, but I can highly recommend it. And then the rest of it is basically given over to sort of like a museum about sort of spycraft and that
yeah.
sort of thing, featuring a lot of sort of like 40s, 50s, and sort of into the
I
60s and
would
that as
love
well.
that. I
Really
would
interesting
love that.
stuff, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, I highly recommend a visit.
So yeah, if we're
And
talking
you'll
about
see,
Khrushchev,
Yeah, Khrushchev, let's have a
I
look.
just love the no, I just love the idea of him being in office a lot longer and asking for the really silly ones. Like,
I'd like it,
like,
yeah, just exploding car, please.
can we get a boat that's actually an iceberg with Miss World in it and some caviar for me?
I think probably when you're Khrushchev, people wouldn't say no.
Mm, mm.
Nikita Khrushchev. My when well, I should know a little bit more about Soviet era Russia than I
Oh,
did
I
because
used to know loads.
we
I
studied it
studied it
effectively
lots
three
back in the
times,
day.
like A level, and then again once we got to university.
I
But
tell you what,
my history teacher at college did actually resemble Khrushchev a little bit. We all had a bit of a
oh,
laugh, and he knew it as
well,
well.
what,
Bless
he
him.
was a bald, overweight man. That's not that
Well, he
unusual.
wasn't overweight, but he was balding and did sort of look a bit
Well,
like
no, the thing
Khrushchev.
is, right, I'm going to look
He
it up
also
now, and I
taught
would.
squash. He was very fit, so we also kind of taught us squash as well. Um, I think he was PE teacher to begin
Okay,
with, and then made the branch out
all
into
right.
history.
If
Um,
if you'd have asked me when did Khrushchev, I want to be honest here.
let's have
If
a
I'd have
look.
been miles wrong, if I'd been decades out, I would lie. But the truth is, if you'd said to me, when did Khrushchev leave office, I'd have said something like 66, 67, and it's 64.
Yeah, I need to look it up. So
So
let's have
he
a
was
look.
asking it
58,
through
64.
like
So
golfing
quite a short period of time, actually. I don't know what.
53 to 64 to get your eyes checked.
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Premier of the Soviet Union in office, 27th of March 58 to 14th of October 64.
Oh, I've got leader of the. All right, hang on a minute. Oh no,
That was as
he was
president,
first.
but leader
Right,
of the
yeah, got
Communist
it.
Party, 53 to 64. But again, that's Wikipedia, so it's written by people.
In his
Um,
Wikipedia picture, he looks like he's just farted and he's worried he's followed through.
Minorly, he's a little bit annoyed with you being
He's a
there.
little bit like something's going on down there, but I can't look while this is being taken.
He's trying to do a Roger Moore raising eyebrow. Hmm?
So here we go. This is just towards the very end of the film now.
This is the sped up sequence
This is
that
the
annoys
sped
us
up
so
bit,
much.
and it looks ridiculous, and it doesn't need to.
I
I
think
don't know. This will sound
again something
daft.
that was quite popular in this
Could you
era, wasn't it? You
slow?
see it a lot in these
Could you
films.
sort this now? You know how like Peter Jackson made First World War footage look smooth and perfect. Could you sort this out
We need
as
to
you're
get Peter
making?
Jackson in to sort it out. Come on. He's too busy doing all the Beatles stuff at the
No,
minute.
could you slow that down? I mean, we've already saved loads of
Probably.
times because we cut down the fucking other stuff. But that looks
He probably could.
cartoonish. You might as well have the Benny Hill music on it.
Yeah, he probably could. Let's have a look. See what else. Might see if this works.
I think it's the idea of like they're in a fast vehicle that might give it a bit. Might be their thinking.
Again, you got to think of the cinema of the time as well. Nothing was cut quickly. So if you speed things up, in the moment, people would almost be overwhelmed by this because there wasn't much like this. So again, you got to judge it for its era. That's
Oh,
why you won't hear me go, "Oh my God, he's just like blackmailed her into sex." It's like, well, I'm sorry. At the time, most people went cheeky ban, eh? And it's the same with this. It's like the things that, like I keep repeating, the things about this film that don't work as well now are the things that really, really made it work in
they
1965.
sort of let it. They sort of let it slide.
Yeah,
I think obviously I don't know. It probably. I mean, this was really quick cutting again was sort of quite sort of pioneering again. Like, I mean, we had Hard Days Night. Oh God, excuse me, Hard Days Night kind of around this sort of time as well, which really did sort of. There's very much like for
Richard
MTV that kind of music video
Richard
cutting.
Lester, yeah.
Yeah, Dick Lester as we kind of as we know it today. But again, it probably wasn't until Majesties you really had that sort
Dick
of smash
Lester is
cutting.
that? Sorry, Dick Lester is that knob cheese?
But yeah, Richard Lester definitely. But yeah, it's like kind of like smash cutting as we come to know it as sort of really pioneered not till Majesties later on, I think. But obviously we'd seen that kind of like quick cutting before. And I think yeah,
That's in
it
the
was
tank.
it
You
was
can
just
tell.
that kind of that sort of style of
Yeah.
editing really that we hadn't really seen before, I don't think.
You're absolutely
Well,
right. I just want to add one point. When I did all my Road to Bond 25 articles on Set the Tape all those years ago, it's about 6 years ago I wrote them now, by the way.
no, never.
Yeah, that's how
God,
fast time goes by.
time
They took
flies.
ages to get released because basically what happened is I started writing them and I wrote like four or five to show it was still Tony then what they
Oh
were
God,
like.
that was back in the day.
And I'd written about eight before it changed ownership, before one went out. So I wrote them well ahead of them going out. I'd write one when I had an afternoon spare and I'd rewrite them and stuff as well. But that when that boat crashed there, the explosion they put on it shattered windows up to 30 miles away.
No,
Yes.
that's a fun fact.
Yeah. It sounds ridiculous, though. I almost don't believe it, but I went and verified it, and apparently it's true. Whether
That's
they mean
incredible.
shattered or just a crack, or maybe it was on a fault line, I haven't got a clue.
I
Because
think shattered just sounds more dramatic.
logically that shouldn't happen. That's like Chris's windows breaking because something like fucking blew up
The
in
car alarm
Runcorn.
went off.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's amazing though. I think it's just it sounds more dramatic as something typical. That's incredible. That's a fun fact, folk.
I suspect there's a grain of truth in it. They may have put too many miles and shattered maybe too much. Or it may just be the building standards of the time, or it may be it was on a fault line or something. No idea.
No, but that's an incredible fact though.
Hmm. And
Well, that's something
there,
that's something lifted from the Dark Knight.
yeah.
Yes, I think that probably
Oh,
has.
sorry.
Christopher.
Sorry, Dark Knight lifted for this. But,
Oh, I
Yes.
thought you said that as a piss take. You actually
no.
meant it, but you said it wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes. They got the idea of that from there. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that was where they got that
Um,
from. So
although he didn't copy it because he was pulled out in the opposite direction in The Dark Knight, Chris.
yes,
He was pulled out to the left then.
the other way
Oh.
around.
Mm,
It was flipped again.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about being Batman. You don't have to cover your bad wig.
that's true. But you can't go out in daylight though, can you?
No, but
Because
bats are nocturnal.
you don't want your goatee line to basically be suntanned. That's a give, and the bit around your eyes.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
people might think you're a vampire.
Mm. All right, guys, tell me when because I
You're
was on the
some sort of
Amazon
reverse
version.
vampire.
It cut right off the credits
Yeah.
immediately. So just
It
tell me
does,
when
yeah,
they're
but it
done.
just
Tell me
stops.
when they're done.
Oh,
We'll
it's
get.
finished.
They just
All right.
finished for me.
Oh, okay. Right. Let's sign off quite quickly because this is our comeback special.
Oh,
Um,
I hope it goes okay.
right. I just want to say it's a bit of blame on everybody's side and a bit of blame on no one's side. It's just been circumstances. Sorry, we have not recorded or released it anyway since March. We are back on a platform now. I'm hoping this recording works. Otherwise, you won't be hearing it.
Back to square
Hopefully,
one.
hopefully we're back in a pattern now. I want to just say thank you ever so much for those of you, because one or two of you have asked where we are, and I know one person said they literally re-listened to everything we've ever done.
Yes, thank you
So
so much.
Bloody
That's
hell.
dedication.
Yeah, they just said I'm running out of stuff, so I had to send them old Cinematronics episodes with me and Chris on. I know there's no Becca on that, but I didn't have anything else.
It's probably all the better for it.
No, it's not. It needs the three of us, but though they were decent shows, but I was like, I had to send them those. So yeah, I'm sorry anyway, but we are back now. So this will be edited the next few days. It should be out this side of Christmas, I hope, if not just after. And next will be a Christmas commentary. So I'm going to let Becca say goodbye, and then Chris can sign us off with what we're doing for Christmas. Good night, folks.
Yes, thank you so much for. Hopefully, we can return with gusto with this Thunderball commentary. Hope you've enjoyed it and hope it all works. Fingers crossed. But yeah, just to echo Dave's words, apologies for the radio silence. But thank you so much for waiting. Thank you so much for your patience. We are now back. But yeah, we're recording this 20th of December, the date of the episode. Just to wish you Merry Christmas if you celebrate.
It should be out before Christmas, certainly on YouTube, and Chris will do it as soon as he gets it, I'm sure.
Wishing everybody happy holidays and a safe and happy and healthy 2026 and beyond. Thank you so much for waiting for us. And we'll be back with you shortly. Thank you, and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And yeah, I don't think there's anything more I can add to that. Just thanks for hanging on.
Oh, so you're not sorry, Chris. Me and Becca apologise. What are you going to do for our loyal listener base, you arrogant twat?
Well, I'm just very grateful of everything.
Oh, that sounds real now, doesn't it? Oh, thanks. Sorry, I'm joking, everybody. We've all felt terrible about it. Anyway, go on, Chris.
But yeah, thanks for hanging on, and yes, and have a good New Year, and hope you enjoy the festivities. And in the meantime, we will be back with another commentary of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.